I'm having trouble with my Yeti mic. Hold on. Let's get this sorted. How we doing now? Can we hear me now? My apologies. Looks like the mic is now working. What are you going to do? Technical difficulties on the Lucha Bet Extreme just at the very beginning. I haven't had a good mic drop in a while. So there you go. What is happening, everyone? Oh, on the screen, we have this morning's version of the Filipino Sea Log. Of course, that with shrimp. I made that with shrimp. I bought some shrimp yesterday. It was on sale. So I made a steak with some shrimp. We'll show that in a little bit. I made a sea log because I'm addicted to that rice. And BW was good enough to send me out some of that garlic. Oh, it's so good. So part of the marinade, because I the fruit you sent was so good, I took a tangerine and a lime for part of the marinade for the shrimp. And so seafood, you don't want to marinate your seafood for very long. It can get rubbery and not so good quick. So, 20 minutes to a half hour max is what I normally do. So I had that, some spices, a little bit of chili oil in there. And that was the topping for the rice. That was our protein for the day. Some of those Strawberry Fields tomatoes, some sourdough toast, and a sunny side up egg. Makes for a delicious breakfast. How's everyone doing out there today? Everyone doing good? We got BW in the chat. Definitely. Good morning, sir. Logan Hall, if you didn't catch it, he did an epic 5-hour live stream on making a smoky chili yesterday, which I caught some of. Not all. I don't know how long we're going to go today. My mother, okay, so, my mother fell. She fell down a couple steps. So she is in the hospital. She's okay, but probably go visit her here this afternoon. And she's requested a phone cord for her iPhone because she doesn't have one with her, obviously. So, but took a little tumble down this I'm not even sure it was very many steps. I think she kind of tripped on a step and just kind of fell backwards. But she had major neck surgery a few years ago, right after my dad died. She had major neck surgery, and she was because she had kind of fallen and blacked out. They were married for 54, almost 55 years. So she had some problems after that. Obviously, it was a little difficult for her, but she's doing okay. So, Rop C, first super chat, and have a great stream, Loach. Upvote. Yeah, he's reminding everyone to hit the upvote button. A very important metric that we use to see if everybody likes the show. We got 8 upvotes and 9 people in the room. 2 of those upvotes are me because I have mine in the Jeep account. So, what are you going to do? I'm wearing the Evil Knievel t-shirt today. I did buy a new Steeler hat this week because I haven't had a Steeler hat in a while. Got a lot of Penguin hats, a lot of Penn State hats. Penn State won again last night. Quarterback was out at the half, Drew Aller, but Bo came in and played well, and they pulled out and beat the pants off of Wisconsin in the second half. I believe the final score was 28-13. Sorry to any of our Wisconsin fans out there, but Penn State's now 7-0 and heading into a matchup with Ohio State, a team they have not been able to beat in years. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we'll have a better result. They're trying to get to the college football playoffs this year. This is always a good deal. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? So I'm going to show you my dinner from last night. So I made because I was at the hospital for a while, I did a huge dump on Facebook and Instagram of just taking pictures out of my phone. And I made a photo album on Facebook, which we'll get into a little bit of food pics. And then we did I dumped a bunch of them into Instagram as well. But this was last night's dinner. So that is a ribeye topped with shrimp and a Gouda Parmesan cheese mixture that I broiled the shrimp on top of that with some mushrooms. I served that over. I took 2 sweet potatoes and mashed them up and served that with some seared asparagus. And of course, I have a never ending supply of those strawberry tomatoes right now. Logan says you should make a dedicated cooking Instagram. Like, yes, Logan does have that. Yeah, if you're not following Logan Hall, please follow him on Instagram and on his YouTube channel. So I present the end result. I don't have the patience that Logan has to make a video showing you guys everything. But I like, I like to cook, and then I like to make it look nice, if you will. So that was last night's dinner. It was delicious. We got Billy in the chat. Good morning, Billy. Good to see you. BW says when your car selling gets boring, you can become a food stylist. I don't know about that. I do my best. For an amateur, I don't think I do bad, but I am an amateur cook and stylist. But I think I told you guys this before when Facebook first became. Well, I guess it really might. Well, I think it was Facebook. Because if you remember, there was MySpace and then there was Facebook. In a lot of ways, MySpace was better because you personalize your page a lot more, but didn't have the outreach eventually that Facebook had. And I was prepping some food. I think my family was coming over for dinner, and people went nuts because I posted these pictures. So I just started, and that was probably 2007. So I started posting pictures of food, and people seem to like it. What are you gonna do? Billy says, no, you need to become a chef. And chefing is stressful. I cook to relax, you know. The link is pinned at the top if anybody would like to join the stream. And I'll post it again here so you find it easier. But yeah, that's we'll go through some of those pictures, see what's going on out there. So we found out a little bit more, I guess, about the what I described last week. What it was told to me was like a little bit of a shouting match between Mathis and Tim Wright, and evidently there was a little bit more to it. The way I understand it is that Tim found out where the Colony guys were at a cigar bar and tried to insert himself into the festivities, and then got a little shitty with Mathis because nobody wanted to say hi to him. Nobody really cares. I think that's the saddest part is that the people that have moved on from Tim Wright just don't care. I feel bad for people like Sean, because Sean has this thing like, oh, we're all going to get back together someday. And it's probably not going to happen because people just don't care. He treated people so badly. Then he loves O'Sheen, and O'Sheen's a fucking train wreck, you know. Um, and I mean, he is obsessed, O'Sheen, with Britt Pierce's success and trying to match it. It's it's ludicrous, really. It's just ludicrous. He will try and tack on to anyone to kind of claim some fame and some followers and try to make some money, but he doesn't. Yeah, he gets followers, but it doesn't seem like they're real followers. His live streams do not get nearly what they used to. Viewer wise, a lot of it's because he can't just do what he wants to do as far as watches and videos of places and travel logs and that type of thing. He's got to always, got this little bit of political to him, and it's not debate. It's where someone's talking down to you, and there's just nothing good about that. You know, um, it's terrible. George Varhe's in the chat. Good morning, Mark and all. Hop on a bit. NFL Sunday. That it is. It definitely is. We love ourselves a good NFL Sunday. George had to make the picks alone last week. And what a shame. But yeah, we could always love to make the NFL picks. So over here at the Lucha channel, so I mean, most of you guys know, but we talk watches, we talk food, we talk whatever happens to be the subject. And in this case, the greetings and beatings, I guess Tim wouldn't let it go, and Mathis finally just kind of put him on the ground. Not didn't punch him or anything. I was from what I understand, but just kind of like yanked him, pushed him to the ground, and then Tim sulked off to sit by himself. But that's his choice. Tim chose to alienate all those colony people and then thinks that he's going to ingratiate himself to them again. No. One of the reasons I didn't go to Watch Time this year is I didn't want to see Tim Wright. I didn't want to be in that position where I had to have that conversation with him. But if you guys would like to have a timepiece or breakfast or some kind of food featured on the show, luchabedic@gmail.com. Just let me know in the chat because I've got too much going on to just monitor the email. And don't forget to check me out at the Luchabedic Mark on Instagram. There's also a Luchabedic one that was something else. I haven't been able to find a way to delete it. But that being said, while we're waiting for George to talk some NFL, we got Johnny O, one of my favorite humans in the chat. I got a lot of favorite humans out of these things. I mean, Logan Hall's a good guy. BW is a good guy. George Vardy is a good guy. Billy seems like a good guy. We got Rolf C's always so supportive. I mean, we got a good mix. Curly keeps threatening to wake up early and catch one of these streams. I'm not sure that's every once in a while I've seen him towards the end, but A, he's a time zone over, but B, I started watching some of that show. I fell asleep. He'll run a 5, 6, 7, 8 hour stream on a Saturday night up to the wee hours of the morning here. So I can't imagine that's easy to wake up and come join us for breakfast or brunch, But if he shows up or if he watches on the replay, always good to see. He's thoroughly entertaining guy. I started out not liking Curly because I felt like it was an attack. Like I felt like part of the group that was being attacked. But then when you actually parse it out and listen to him, he's actually a really funny guy. He's got some interesting takes on things as kind of a watch outsider. And Mookie does an amazing job with his clips. So always remind you guys, support that channel. Speaking of support, anything we do here as far as super chats, obviously, like I said, we've made $131 so far. to go towards improving the show. First thing I think I'd like to improve is to get a new camera. So anything we get, we'll put back into the show, and it is appreciated. And then we will probably do a charity stream here or there when there's if somebody has an unboxing or something like that. But for the most part, it's not to put money in my pocket, but to make the show better. That's the whole idea. Oh geez. Mr. G, Mr. G, another one of those when I talk about good humans. What a good guy. Love Mr. G. Can't wait to get back out to Philly and see him again. Always have a good time when he's around. He's just a there's some really genuinely nice people in the world. Super chat, Johnny O, $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. He says support this channel. I appreciate that, guys. You guys are the best, really. I have a great audience. I have a great. You guys, pulled me out of retirement, but here we go. So we're waiting for George. One of the things I wanted to do, since Mom is in the hospital and I had all that time, like I said, I downloaded a ton, and I mean a ton of food pictures out of my phone. Probably not all of them. I don't know that I could get them all, but I'm going to head over because it's actually probably easier to do it off the Facebook page because I made an album out of them, an actual Facebook photo album. And we will head over to there. Let's see. We're going to go to photos. I dox myself with a regularity that is scary, but that's fine. All right. So the album I made on Facebook is called I Made That Food Pic. So we'll just kind of. That was last week's. It was actually dinner the night before, but I showed it to you guys as my breakfast. That was chicken and waffles. We've had. Oh man, you guys are. Hold on, George Voorhees says, "Cheers, my friend." That Lucha Better Mark. Thank you, sir. So, again, you guys are just way too kind to me. It's mind-boggling to me that anybody wants to listen to me talk about watches and food. But we'll do a little bit of food picks here since I was on them. Some of these are more recent, but so that was one of the. I think that might have been the first Filipino silog I made with the corned beef. That was a mushroom and shrimp korma I made. That was my beef vegetable soup. I'm an excellent soup maker. Uh-oh. We're being invaded by the Niners fan.
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, George.
Mr. G.
Mr. G.
Logan. BW. And who am I missing?
You got
Johnny
BW,
O.
Johnny O. You got Billy.
Billy. Everyone in the chats.
Got 18 people watching. Logan says, I feel the same way they do girl streams. I'm happy if one person watches. Yeah, it's amazing that anybody would want to watch, hang out and watch what I'm doing. How are you doing, George? We missed you last week.
I was a little busy. I was had some personal stuff to take care of and had some business stuff to take care of. So it's a little combination of the two back home in the OC. So I was down there. I met a fellow member in our watch community. We had a nice little lunch over at In-N-Out Burger, which was my choice.
Nice.
I had a craving.
You know what? I think it's partially because it's out west and I don't get it very often. But anytime I am Vegas, Phoenix, California, I have to at least once go to In-N-Out.
Oh yeah, same here. My parents actually eat. Well, they're in their 80s. Their diet consists of basically, Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out Burger and Five Guys.
Yeah,
at least 3 to 4 times a week.
Now,
and I said, well, if I'm 83, I guess I can do the
I guess,
same thing.
yeah, exactly. If you get
What
to
the
that
hell?
point, what I love me some Five Guys too. But I will tell you what my favorite thing is at Five Guys: the hot dogs.
I got to try that. I've been meaning to try it, but
Their hot
not.
dogs are really good. They
Mm,
split them and grill them. They're actually really good.
nice. And a
Um,
shout out to Goldfinger as well.
yes, Goldfinger in the chat. Always good to see Goldfinger. But yeah, there. That's the secret of the secret menu. There is the hot dogs. It's not really a secret; they're on the menu, but nobody really orders them. And when I was dating Michelle, her son was a big fan of them, so I was
Mm,
I'm gonna try one, and it was actually really good.
yeah. Speaking of hot dogs, the best hot dogs are at Dodger Stadium. Dodger dogs.
Dodger
Oh,
dogs,
oh
yeah.
my God. It's $25 now, but it's
Oh, geez.
somebody's got to pay for
Shohei.
Otani and all this. So, funny story. Friday, my parents went to a concert up in near UCLA, which is about 25 miles north of Orange County.
Okay,
Normally, you have to go on the 405, which passes right by the airport. And the
right.
concert was at 7 p.m.
Mhm.
and it was like Carmageddon over there because you
Oh,
had
the World Series
it was horrible because
and
Friday
USC.
night, yeah, you had USC, you had the World Series. Um, it was just a nightmare. It took my parents literally, normally it takes about an hour. So my dad looked at Google Maps and it said 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It was absolutely crazy. And it was even worse coming back because it ended right when the Dodgers game ended on
Oh,
Friday.
geez.
Oh,
That was exciting. Grand slam to end the game.
yes, yes. They didn't go to the game. They were, but they
Yeah,
they were near the vicinity there, and they said it was just an absolute nightmare getting out of there.
man, that would be. It's been hey, Dodger's in the chat. Dodger, how are you, sir? I come back to this a lot because Dodger was one of those guys that came on those community streams early when I first started doing them, and then Tim banned him.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, it was weird. I don't know.
That is weird.
Yeah,
He he was there with all of us
we're
in
just
Vegas
talking
last
watches.
year.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
just talking watches,
him
and
and Mrs. Dodger were all there.
yeah.
Anyways, I came on for some little drama this Sunday morning
Uh-oh.
to warm up the bones a little bit. Since that soup looks so good, I thought I'd warm up
We're off the
the
booze.
old the drama. So what's going on in the watch world that I'm not aware of?
So apparently, did you hear about the Tim and Mathis
I
incident?
heard about the little tit for tat.
Yeah. So last week when I was on, I had heard it was just an argument.
Mm.
Apparently there was some minor physicality to it.
Mm.
But what I was told was that Tim got a hold of Carson Chrono to find out where he was at, and they were at a cigar bar doing like a colony event. And
Mm.
so then he went there to try and interject himself into there, and then he was upset that people didn't want to talk to him. Well, these
Well,
are
you
all
mean you mean the people you banned and
exactly,
insulted?
exactly. Like
Yeah,
how does that?
yeah.
How does
The
that even?
people
They
the people you banned, insulted, and kicked to the curb. Funny thing, they don't want to talk to you.
don't want to talk to you. Imagine that.
Yeah,
Who would have thought?
yeah.
But
Never heard of such things.
yeah, it's just craziness. But yeah, that was so apparently that's what was what caused the whole thing. And that it's a
Hmm.
shame. I mean, it's you know, I mean, you would think he would know better, but he's really immature. So
Mm.
and I guess O'Sheen as of last night when I was checking in on the Curly stream, O'Sheen had not made an appearance yet.
Mm.
I don't know if he made it to the country or not. There was some rumor floating around that he wasn't allowed in the country. I don't know.
Or he doesn't have the money. Let's be
Yeah,
honest. Let's be
yeah,
honest. Nobody picked up the tab for his hotel and the parents' fees and
The parents' fees.
come on, get over it. uh,
I love how he
but
suddenly got to 200,000
oh,
subscribers
come on.
to
We how
compete
much
with.
would that cost, Mark? About a couple of $1,000 to buy a few 100,000
It's
subs.
not even that much. I bet you it's about 200. I'll bet you it's probably like $1 each. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
To get yourself some bots.
I hope it's not $1 each. That's kind of pricey for a bot. Hopefully, like 10 cents each.
Yeah, that would be better.
Uh, oh well, it's pretty
100.
funny, to be honest with you, because I guess it's the Barossa kickoff party.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which I'm not even 100% sure what Barossa is,
me neither.
and
I
it's
don't
not.
get it, and I don't understand it, and
Yeah,
probably not going to use it. So there you go.
yeah, there you go. I mean, it's. I think it's for. Well, you would probably be in their kind of the kind of client that they're looking, because I believe what it's part of it is for people who like big collectors, not like people, not like a mega IWC guys like me, George. You
Mm,
know,
mm. Yeah, I
a lot
don't
of
know. I was
JLCs in there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not. Mark, all this stuff. This is just a hobby to me. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's not like this is like an investment. It's not like Bitcoin or the stock market or bonds or anything. Uh, anything like that to me. So I don't know. And I've always said this before about watches, and I've always said it's just a fancy man's jewelry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you buy it, you wear it, you enjoy it, beat the shit out of it, and then when you trade it in, you expect to lose money on it.
Exactly.
It's not like, oh my gosh, I have $10,000. I'm going to buy this watch and see if I can make a double on the watch.
Right. It should be more enjoyment and more purpose.
Exactly.
You know, that's why, like, I like the thing. There you go, George. Here's some meatloaf for you.
Mm. And you know how much I love meatloaf,
I know. That's why
and
I'm
my
like,
wife
I like meatloaf.
absolutely detests it.
How can you hate meatloaf? It's
I just cannot get over that. I just,
so,
like yesterday, I went over to Costco and my wife was like, "Well, can you buy us something so we can put it in the oven and have a quick
yeah.
dinner because I'm getting home late." And I go, "Okay, can we have meatloaf?" Hell no.
Hell
How,
no. How about
how about
did
the
you get
how
stuff back?
about the how about the stuffed bell peppers? Oh, absolutely not. And then I'm like, "What else do you want?" And I knew what she was going to say. The butter salmon, the basil butter salmon. I'm like, "Oh my god!" And then some salad and some potatoes, and I'm like, "Oh Jesus!" Not a happy camper last night.
Yeah.
Oh
Lo-
well.
Logan said he sort of made meatloaf yesterday as part of his chili cooking.
I
There you go.
think I think Logan should do a nice meatloaf
Yeah.
because I'd love to drool all over that.
You know what the secret is to my meatloaf, George? Yeah.
That you go to Costco.
No, I
Oh,
emulsify the onions.
oh, okay. Yeah,
So
I'm not really,
I don't like
for
the big
me,
onion chunks, but I like onion flavor.
yeah, I like to have pieces of onions in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
like to have little. My mom makes the best meatloaf, I think, and
okay.
and I'm a man of simple means. I just like Heinz ketchup or something on the top, like doused on it.
Yeah.
I love that taste of the
I'm
the
coming to
ketchup.
California. Your mom and I are having a meatloaf cook-off.
Oh, she would love. She's 83 years old and she still cooks. You know what I'm saying? 83 and she still has the ability to cook.
But can she trash talk with me?
Oh
Well,
yeah.
okay,
Oh
cool.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
because that
Yeah.
makes it more fun.
Yeah. So, did I ever tell you I had when I was in my fraternity, one of the rites of initiation? Did I tell
Oh,
you about this?
yes, where all
Blended liver and onions and
yes.
yes. Oh my God. I told my wife, please, just once for my birthday, can you make like liver, onions, a little bit of mashed potato, put a, scoop of like, I'll get a shake of any kind that I like blend it all together, and I'll be love to have a little shake of liver and onions with, and she's like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Uh,
A couple times my mom made it for my dad. My dad was a big liver and onions fan. I was never
oh,
the biggest fan of it. It was more the smell while it was cooking. I didn't care for,
oh, geez.
but he loved it. She made it for him a few times. But if we were out somewhere and they had it on the menu, he
Mm.
automatically ordered
Me too. Me
it. Yeah.
too. And I'm still that way. There's like this little country restaurant about 25, 30 miles from where I live. And if I ever get a chance to go there, I always order the liver and onions. And I swear this lady that works there, she says that she keeps it on the menu just because I go there.
For you,
Yeah.
she ought to
Uh,
rename
I always ask her, has anybody else ordered this? And she's like, nope, just you.
it.
Uh,
Basil's
yeah.
Bezel in the chat. Good to see you, Basil's.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, Basil. But yeah, like I said, all this drama stuff and Barossa and all this, I don't know. I'm not privileged to it, and that's
Yeah, I
fine.
don't really
So
know a lot about it.
yeah.
I catch I caught some of it because I did watch a little bit of Tim's live stream from Watch Time.
Mm,
There wasn't a lot of coverage, so I just kind
hmm.
of wanted to see what was going on.
Yeah.
But I didn't catch a ton, and then I get most of it if Curly does a show. That's kind of
Hmm.
where you know what I mean. You kind of pick up on stuff from him, but. Yeah, good to see Basil's. Good to see Basil's. If you guys are ever curious about anything still going on with the Wizard and stuff, he is your source for information there. Speaking of
Mm.
watch drama, and
Oh yeah.
we know that
And
he.
the thing about Tim, and I've said this a billion times, I left real early in the year this year, and I
Right.
left partly because I told him bluntly on the stream, I said, I don't really like the political BS. I don't like the bezel and the 4P and all the other crap,
Right.
Stop talking about this nonsense.
Exactly.
I will still give him credit though. He still has probably the best content for watch tubers, you know, online.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He
Yeah.
does. Yeah. His Gonzo streaming ability is
Yes.
top rate. You
Yeah.
know, it's just he can't stay on subject. You
Yeah.
know.
And hey, I admit I was watching some of his stream from LA,
Yeah.
and I thought it was pretty good, to be honest with you. It's always good to see some friends there.
Nice
And
friendly faces.
yeah,
I caught some stuff on from Curly. I didn't watch it direct, but
yeah.
yeah, it's always good to see who's there and who's not. I see Cam showed up.
Yeah, I saw that. And like I said, I don't really care one way or the other. We're only, if he provides you entertainment, you stick around. If he doesn't, then you move on, and that's
Right.
that, right? So
Mhm.
it's the way it goes. Now, if I'll be honest with you, if he kind of toned it down with all this other stuff and stuck to talking watches and stuff, his personality attracts people. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
100%.
You know, is he an honest player? May not be, but you know what? You know what you're getting into.
Right. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
You know?
everybody here is smart. So if you don't know what Tim Wright is about or what AC3 is about or any of these people are about, then you've been living under a rock, right?
Right.
So come on.
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly what it is, and it's just you have to vet people yourselves because no one's going to vet them for you.
No, sure. Use your God-given intelligence to figure things out.
Yeah.
So Oshin didn't make it, so that's
I'm assuming, they as far. I mean, I fell asleep. Curly threatened to come on. Threatened said he's
now.
been saying he's going to come on the show. He wanted to watch the show, but I mean, he's doing
Let me tell you something about Curly.
he does
I've
such
always been a
long shows.
I've always liked Curly. I've never had any issues with Curly. I've always considered him a cool dude to me. He's been good to me, and I've liked him from day one. He was
Yeah.
my very first super chat back in 2020 or 2021 when I first
Okay.
came on the stream.
Yeah.
So we always talk about that. So I have nothing against him, and God bless him for doing the 7-hour streams with
My
I think it's
God.
Toyota Mo.
Yeah, him and Mo, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
pretty funny. He's pretty brilliant, to be honest with you.
I mean, I'm in for like an hour and a half, and I'm falling asleep,
Me
and
too.
and I'm like, I remember as I was kind of dozing off, I'm thinking, there's no way he's waking up at uh,
Mm-mm.
that early to jump on this stream because he's still going. And he's gonna be going all day
Yeah,
or all night. I mean,
and think about it, for 7 hours to provide content, and and to have that many people watch it. Like,
not that
I'm in the
many
West
people watch.
Coast, so I'm like a couple of hours behind him, and so like at 10 p.m. there's like it's like midnight, Mountain or
Yeah,
Central Standard Time, and 1 in the morning, and there's still like 60, 50, 70 people watching, and I'm like
yeah.
shocked.
In
So
the clips, I mean, the Mookie clips are great.
those are all
Mookie's
great.
great.
Those are
Yeah,
hilarious.
they're just,
I just haven't been on much of the streams recently. I just had a lot of stuff going on at the office,
yeah,
and some personal stuff that I had to take care of. So now that I'm back, it's always fun to be back in the saddle. So
yeah, back and catch up and see what's going on.
yeah. So basically, the get together. What's going to be kind of interesting. I'm going to lay it out there for everybody in the chat. So basically, they're having this Barossa get together. So can you imagine Tim, OC, and everyone else sitting next together on a table? That
Yeah,
would be. I wish there was a photo that would come out of that one. You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
that would be hard. I just like to see the interactions.
Exactly. Yeah, me too.
It'd be kind of funny, to be honest with you.
It would be funny. It would be uh fascinating to know if they did talk privately or anything, or if anybody was,
Exactly.
there. Because it's a shame that he tore it all down.
Well, you know what though, Mark? It's his channel.
Right.
We're only there for entertainment. If you're not entertained, you're free to leave. And like I said, I have to give Sean a lot of credit. He's handled him pretty well. Got him, I think, for the
Yeah.
most part, probably sobered up, and gave him a new lease on life. It looks like he has some pretty cool dudes there. That Miami Manny seems like he's a pretty nice guy. There's a couple of other people that were on the stream. They all seem like good people. So what more do you want, right? He's rebuilt it, and it's probably. I mean, I don't think it's as good as when we were all there, but it's still better than AC3's channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, he's another one who tore it all apart, and I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Um, and then it's hard to follow because it's all splintered and fractured
It is.
and stuff where everybody should be getting along. You would think. Orko, good
Yeah.
morning, sir.
Good
Yeah,
morning.
did you happen to catch? I thought this was pretty cool that OC did a live stream from Patek Philippe showing
I saw.
all three of
Oh,
the
by
new.
the way, speaking of, and I'll be honest with everyone on the stream, my Laurent Ferrier AD, who's also a Paddock AD, contacted me last week and put me on the list. She
Oh
asked
wow!
me, "Would you be interested?" And she said, "Well, you'll be like one of our top 2 or 3, clients to get one."
Oh wow!
And she said, "We're going to get one of each." And she asked me which one was my favorite. And of course, you go with the green dial version, right? First, and then I went with the two-tone, and then the other version.
Right.
So she said, "I'll give you a call in about 2 months or so, roughly. We should be getting our first shipment in." So
Oh cool.
I like it, to be honest. I like the Cubitus. I
You
really
like
think
it?
it's cool.
Okay.
And you have to like with everything, you have to try it on your wrist. I haven't tried it on my wrist or anything like that, but I instantly liked it, to be honest with
I
you.
actually liked it more when I saw OC trying them on and showing them.
Now,
Like when
correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he poo-poo the Cubitus? Because I remember that whole
I think
stream
everybody
where
poo-pooed.
he was tough. Everybody. Let me tell you something, Mark. Let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you, everybody poo-poos a watch until it comes out 3.5 times MSRP.
Yeah.
Okay, then all of a sudden it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know, if it was trading 50% below average, everybody would still poo-poo it, right? When it's trading 50% above or 150% above MSRP, everybody loves it all of a sudden.
Everybody loves it. Yeah, I get it.
Get the fike out of here. Come on, don't be a joker. Come
How
on.
about stuffed shells? You a stuffed shells fan?
Ooh, yes. My wife makes this all the time.
Yeah, those are good.
Those are good.
Time they takes a little bit of time to get it all
It
done,
does.
but boy, is it
I've
worth it.
I've been blessed. My wife's actually a pretty good cook, so
Yeah,
and I'm not a big. I like to eat out, but not like all the time. You know.
that's the way I am. I'd rather
Yeah.
make some food and eat it. But there are I know a lot of people that just love to go out all the time. It's so
Mm,
expensive. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's just
Oh
oh,
yeah.
Mr. G, what are you laughing at my food, Mr.
I
G?
think he's laughing at my commentary.
But yeah, that's
Uh,
I'm with you. I'd much rather eat at home, uh,
mm.
if
That
possible.
steak looks good.
Yeah, that was good. That was a thinner ribeye I made
Mm.
couple months ago, I think. Little avocado toast and eggs, some wings. The air
Yep.
fryer wings are amazing. The air fryer is amazing. I love
Oh
the air.
yeah. I'm looking at my wife's one. She has a what is this company? Uh, Let me see. I can't even pronounce it. Breville.
Okay.
Yeah. And we air fry a lot of stuff, and it tastes
Yeah.
really good. She air fries potatoes and a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
Really nice. Actually, my wife got me over the weekend, last weekend when I was gone. She got me a hard boiled egg maker.
Okay.
She said it's as simple as one, two, three. You fill this cup with water up to here. If you want
Okay.
hard boiled, if you want medium boiled, it says right here on this little cup. Fill the line up to here, and then
Okay.
you pour the water in, and then you can put about 8 eggs in there if you want. You can cook it for a week or do two at a time. Put two in there, and then put the water in and press start.
Yeah.
Press the button called start. And when it's done, you take it out, put in a little water, let it sit for a minute or two, and then enjoy soft boil it. Because
Very
I
good.
cannot cook to save my life. So she's trying to make my life a lot easier. And it's
Well,
actually I didn't
hey,
think it was going to work. It was like one of those things. It's like you see on TV,
yeah.
you know, and you think it's not going to work and it's gimmicky. And I'm like, damn, this thing is making perfect hard boiled eggs.
Well, there you go. It's problem solved.
Hmm.
Mr. G says he was 30 seconds behind. He's not laughing at my food. And then Lucky Bastard Tony's in the chat.
Hey, Tony.
Tony and Mr. G, I got to make a plan. We got to head out to Philly again, have dinner. It's always good to see you guys.
I would love to make a. I think I might be planning a trip somewhere to the East Coast sometime in the spring, just to meet up with a lot of the gang. I
It's
haven't
like,
done that in a while. I haven't been to New York in a long time, so I
so I
might
had,
just have to go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, I had a really good time last time I was out because Evan G was in town. I got to meet Tony. We went to
Hmm.
lunch. Then we went over to the 1916 company. We just had a blast. He's hilarious. And then we went, Mr. G was working. So then we met him afterwards.
Mr. G is working.
I,
Oh
I
Jesus,
know, but
Mr. G.
Mr. G
I
and his
can't believe it.
work ethic. Orca
Oh
wants
my
to know, can
God.
you make soft boiled eggs in that contraption?
Yes, I think so. I think so.
There you
I
go.
think so. It's
Mike.
I don't even know the name of this machine. I don't know where she found this. It's Elite Gourmet
Ah,
egg cooker.
Elite Gourmet Egg Cooker. There you go.
Yeah, I think you can put one, two, three, four, five, six, two, four, six, 7 eggs in there, and it's pretty easy. Those
So,
all look good, Mark. I
uh,
kind of miss traveling. I'm thinking about planning a trip sometime in January-ish to Argentina.
oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, I've got a friend who owns a ranch down in Cafayette, I think.
Okay.
It's like north of Rio. So my wife and I, he's been like calling and hounding and calling and hounding
Yeah.
and so he's like, you have to come. It's summertime. It's nice. I have horses. I have all the good stuff. We'll go here or there. And I'm like, oh, I'm not sure, but I think this winter I might make a trip down there because he said you haven't had steak until you had Argentinian steak.
Okay.
And he's from Houston, so he should know steak.
Yes.
Something about the grass, huh? What are you looking at?
That would be you mean the grass that they feed the cows with?
Yeah, it's different. He said, and it's much better taste, quite a bit better marbleization.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then they cook it in some type of a pit fire, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so everything just smells so good, And he said you could literally cut the steak with a butter knife. So I said, okay, so I want to try that. So
yeah, so I dumped all these pictures into a photo album on Facebook because I was just sitting in the hospital waiting for mom to have tests done and stuff the other day.
Oh yeah, is she okay? Is she doing okay?
Yeah. So the only worrisome thing, he has a couple of small stress fractures in bones in her back. I was really worried about her neck because she had she had neck surgery, but her blood pressure has been elevated, so that's a little bit problematic. But Logan Hall says Argentinian girls are very cool. Logan Hall. Logan Hall definitely know. I only got a little bit into his chili cooking stream because I love chili. I've actually won 2 chili cooking competitions with my chipotle lime chili.
Dang, who knew?
I know, right? But it's good stuff.
That looks good too.
That's
nothing like a pasta. Yep.
Yeah, that
looks real good.
That's delicious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One of the core Italian pastas, they say.
My mom, she's like you in many ways because she's also an insulin dependent diabetic, and she has like a Dexcom and everything else. Yeah. And so the one thing she really misses eating is like Italian food.
Yeah, you have to be careful because it's
very careful.
So carb heavy. You can't.
Yeah.
You those are special treats when you do that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And at 83, she's had a pacemaker done. She's had, stents opened,
God bless her.
Oh yeah. She's a tough old bird, and now she's like exercising and all this stuff. And so it's like 83 years old. And, the funny thing about her is she has thick jet black hair, not a single wrinkle on her. She looks like she's in her 60s, as opposed to her mid 80s,
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Unfortunately, that didn't parlay into my genetic.
I'm making Nubgunner hungry. He's starving.
Yeah,
Nubgunner, how are you feeling? Nubgunner had open heart. He had a triple bypass.
Damn. Isn't he pretty young? He's pretty young, right?
38, I think he said.
Yeah. Jeez.
But I was telling him, like, it's gonna, he'll start feeling better immediately.
Oh, by far.
After a few months, when he's really up and once his sternum heals, he's gonna be amazed at how much easier everything is and how much better he feels doing just even day-to-day tasks. Let alone when you're like kind of pushing yourself. It's amazing what they can do these days.
Yesterday I was talking to my trainer, and I was talking to Taryn, and she was telling me she has a client who is 81, and so she's been working with him for like 10 years now, and he's like into pickleball, right?
Oh, that's a lot of people. Yeah.
So he told her that like he went in for like a calcium channel score, which is basically it looks at your arterial vessels and it determines how much calcium deposits you have.
Yeah.
And he said, like, of his main arteries, he's got 95% blockage
Oh,
on
geez.
all of them. But this is like where it's misleading, right? So the issue is that I was talking to my wife about this. My wife said, "Well, the issue also is that's not a problem, because if he's this old and he's playing pickleball and he's running around, he probably has developed collateral circulation. That your vessels, undergo angiogenesis and it bypasses these occluded
Oh,
areas. Yeah, and also on top of that, these are probably plaques that will never break off.
okay.
So, you probably at that type of an age, you probably the risk is if you try to go in there and open him up, he'll probably die on the table. You
Oh,
know,
wow.
yeah. So, FYI, these calcium channel scores, which have been promoted by physicians, are not the end all be all.
Mhm. That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts? So, anyways, he's now training with well, he's been training with her to play pickleball, and he's like he does the senior route, the senior tour or something like that.
Okay.
He's a retired, and he himself is a cardiac electrophysiologist.
Oh, damn.
So he himself knows what's going
Yeah,
on in his own body. So pretty interesting stuff.
that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That is nuts. I don't, yeah, it's tough to, my cholesterol is a little high. Um,
There's no problem with that, Mark. You know what you do? You pass the pepper, the salt, and the Lipitor.
yeah. Well,
And
they
then,
on the Lipitor now.
yeah,
I forget.
yeah.
There's a generic name for it. It's a lot longer. It's this much. So much.
Atorvastatin.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But yeah. But you got to keep an eye on it, and
yeah.
and it's amazing. So like before my heart surgery, they said that my heart at the end, the last time they did the all the echocardiograms and everything was working at about 12%.
Oh, wow.
Because the valve was so bad and
Hmm.
stuff. So
Was
uh,
that onset due to complications from diabetes?
I'm sure they
Yeah,
never really said, but I'm sure
yeah.
that's part of it because it's a
Because
huge
it sounds familiar to my mom's story
yeah.
too.
Because diabetes doesn't kill anybody per se.
No, it's the.
Diabetes like
Go ahead.
takes away everything else.
That's right. It
You know,
affects your organs more than
yeah.
anything else. You know.
So, but yeah. So, but they're so happy that it's working at 44% now, and I'm
Oh,
like,
I'm sure.
yeah, they're like, "Oh, that's great. That's great." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, should you be working at 100%?" Like, nobody works at
No.
100%.
No.
All
No.
right. Yeah.
No. And one of my good friends, he's a cardiologist, and one time, like about 10 years ago, I ate something, and it was like dinner. I ate something, and it was turkey tacos. That's what it was.
Ah,
Ground turkey, and my wife made some tacos with it and everything. And it was about like 6 o'clock. Went to bed like nine o'clock, and I woke up with like I've never in my life had heartburn.
yeah.
I've never had heartburn in my life, and I woke up with like severe pain in my chest.
Mhm.
And of course, I went through all the diagnosing in my own mind.
Right.
And, my wife is a physician. It's about like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm running this through her. And I go and I run downstairs, I run back upstairs, and my wife was like, I can tell you you're not having a heart attack if you're running up and down the
Yeah, if
stairs.
you're running up down the stairs, you're probably
It's
not
not,
having
yeah.
yeah.
So I'm like, I was adamant that I was having a heart attack. So I told my wife, I go, I think I better go to the emergency room. So my wife is like, oh no. So there's like this, we have this freestanding emergency room here. And I walk in and I told the front lady, hey, I'm having like chest pain. And
Yeah.
immediately, like it's like they pressed like the code red button,
Oh, yeah.
and like the sirens went off, and immediately some nurse comes running out, puts me in a wheelchair, lines up the IV, shoots me up with some medicine, goes down, rips my shirt off, and puts the the stents for all the EKG and everything. And 12 hours later, they said, "Nope, you didn't, sir. You didn't have no heart attack. You probably had indigestion or heartburn." And the bill was huge.
Oh, I can imagine. Well, I'll tell you this, George. When I was at work and I was outside, I had eaten lunch and I walked out. I hadn't been feeling great for a while,
Right.
but I didn't really. I just thought I was getting old. I didn't know. And
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden, I couldn't catch my breath.
Yeah, that's a sign. Yep.
I was actually down to one knee, and the service manager happened to be walking through the back of the lot. And he came running over,
Mm-hmm.
and I will say the scariest thing in my life. First, the ambulance drive,
Oh
because
yeah, yeah.
they are lights flashing, horn going, buzzing through intersections, honking at people, and then you get to the hospital and they throw you in one of those little triage rooms,
Mm-hmm.
and 6 people come running in.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what? I'm just like, oh, well, I guess this is where it ends. That's
Right.
what was in my
Right.
head, you know.
Right.
I'm like,
Oh yeah.
that's not good, but this many people are running in. You
Oh
know?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's not.
anyways, afterwards, I went and saw my friend who's a cardiologist, and he said, "Well, let's see, let's see what's going on with you, right?" So they hook you up, as you know, to a monitor and everything, and then I did a cardiac stress test.
Yeah.
So they put you on a treadmill, and they target rate your heart and everything. So they could never reach my target rate, and they said, "Well, it doesn't appear that there's no EKG changes or anything." And of course, it's like, you're like, "Okay, are you sure? Are you 100% sure?"
It's funny, George. They wouldn't let me do the actual stress test, the walking thing.
Hmm.
They did an electronic one to me.
Hmm.
Because they were afraid that my heart was so bad that I might keel over.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, that's pretty serious stuff. We
Yeah.
can laugh about it now, but that's serious stuff. Yeah. But
That
like
was
I said, it was uh, you know, it's amazing to me, modern medicine and what is possible, because I
oh.
remember, I think it was March of this year, my mom went to have us, and she had like blockage, and
Mhm.
she went, and I went down to the OC to help my father take her to the hospital, and the doctor came in and said, "Yep, we're going to open this up." We were there at 6 in the morning, and our, pre-op, and she was the first surgery for him. It was at 8. So you get there at 6, 8 o'clock walks in, 9 o'clock he's done, 2 o'clock she's out the door.
Yep.
It's truly amazing, modern medicine. And he showed the before and after pictures, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you can see it." And then you could immediately see my mom's face, the color came back, you know. Even if it was, she has 3 vessels and they opened up one, and you could just tell, you
How much?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he said he could do the other 2, but he doesn't wanna risk it.
Yeah.
So, we're like, "No, don't. Glad you didn't." At 83, you don't really need to, she's
Well,
not gonna be doing
I had
marathons.
significant blockage in 2 arteries, but they would not do the angioplasty and stents
Mhm.
because they had to do the open heart surgery. They
Yeah.
just look, while we're in there, we're going to give you a double bypass. I'm like,
Mm.
I just remember looking at the doctor and saying, you guys are just full of good news."
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's amazing stuff, to be honest with you. Modern medicine is making, used to be like, used to do open heart all the time. Now there's so many other ways of doing it, unless
Yeah.
if you absolutely need it.
Yeah. 100%.
This is one of my favorite salads right there that you
Oh, the
just had. The
strawberry field salad?
strawberry, yeah, with
Yeah.
is that vinegar? Not balsamic?
Balsamic. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, thin balsamic dressing with a little bit of balsamic glaze on top
yeah, yeah.
and the
I
frisee.
actually like this with a little bit of like tangerines,
Oh,
instead of
yeah.
the strawberries.
Okay.
Substitute the tangerine for it with a little bit of or you don't even need balsamic if you have tangerine.
Now the tangerines they're so juicy, you almost need
Oh
nothing.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this cooking's
You
fun.
look like you're a shrimp kind of guy. You like shrimp a lot, huh?
I do like shrimp. I love so I'm not good at cooking fish. I
Mm.
don't get that. So fish is something I get out a lot. I
Hmm.
love like like sea bass and stuff. Like I'll get that stuff when I'm out
Oh yeah.
because I love it. But
Now you shouldn't be eating this, Lucha.
that's actually I made that for my mother on Mother's Day a few
Okay,
years
there you go.
ago. I love scallops and mussels too.
There you go. Now that's pretty healthy.
Yeah, just in like a tomato wine sauce.
Hmm.
Really good stuff.
Even though my mom is a diabetic and everything like you are,
Yeah,
she always says like, "Oh, you need to have like after like a dinner or something, you need to have something sweet to help digest the food." And she reaches into the freezer, grabs a pint of her favorite ice cream,
yeah.
and starts eating away.
It's very well,
Ah, well,
she's in her 80s. She's earned it.
yeah, you got to live, right? You got to live sometimes, right?
Yes, Nub Gunner, I did make that. This is all stuff I made. I just had time to kill, so I was just like putting all these photos into an album off my phone because I'm like I have all these food pictures. I should have a new
That
album.
looks good, Mark.
Yeah,
Is this some Thai stuff? Coconut?
yeah. This is a coconut curry with
Mm.
tofu.
Ah,
Tofu's good.
ah.
That was a potato mushroom cacciatore. So my ex was a vegetarian, so I'd make her stuff.
Mm.
I was trying to teach her how to cook and stuff. So when you see a lot of when you see a bunch of vegetarian dishes, they're usually in dishes that weren't mine. Yeah, the actual dishware. Was,
Mm.
so we did like that. That's one of her plates. I forget what that even was. It was good, I'm sure. Uh,
Well, what's new in the great state of Pennsylvania? All the I heard there might be like a crucial election.
there might be a William Mays. Yes. Um, yeah.
Rumor has it your state
Rumor
might
has
elect the
it
next
that,
president.
yeah, our state tends to be a big deal on election day. I guess Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan,
Now, for everyone in the chat, this is
swing
where we
state.
get into politics.
Yeah.
So have a thick skin, be patient. I'll
Yes.
only be on for a little while longer, and then I'll be gone. And then you could rip me while I'm not here.
Yeah. Election day is coming up. Seems like it was far away, but no, it's coming up.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I know what I think, but I'll just say this: regardless of personality wise, party wise, whatever you believe, I just know in my heart of hearts, I am not better off than I was 4 years ago, and by a mile.
Okay.
By a
Now
mile.
that you ripped open the band-aid, let me continue onwards. For those of you in the chat who know, I'm Indian, and I've never met a more stupid Indian than the one that's running for president. Okay, there's no one more stupider that came from our culture. What an insult to my culture!
Yes.
This moron running for president, the, the most
Geez.
uneducated, dumbass Indian woman I've ever met in my life, and I'm qualified to say it because I've met a lot of Indians. It's not racial because I am one of them. There you
Right.
go.
I just, I hear her saying, "Oh, we're going to do this for the economy, that for the economy." I'm like, well, what did you do the last 4 years?
She's the biggest joker out there.
You're vice president for 4 years.
She wasn't even popular. My parents are Indian. I have friends who are Indian. None of us like her. You
Yeah.
know, she's pulling the wool over the American people's eyes. She's a joker. She did absolutely nothing other than put black men into jail when she was the attorney general in the state of California.
Yeah.
So if you're fooled by all this, then you need to have your head checked.
DC and LV, good to see you.
DC, it's been a while. How you doing? What a class act DC is. I still remember the hospitality he showed us in Vegas,
Yeah.
when we were down there. Very classy gentleman. Very classy.
There's so many good there's so many good people in these streams that
yeah. But yeah, I've had I was reading an article,
Chris J thinks we are stupid because we're not going to be better off with Trump.
I think we will be.
I just know that I'm not better off with the last 4 years. But
Yes.
I mean, it's night and day.
Yes.
In my business, in my income, in what I have to spend.
Yep.
Is crazy,
Yep. So if you like inflation, if you like open borders, if you like all this other crap, you have a choice. So you can do whatever you'd like.
Everyone has.
You have the right to choose whatever you want, and I have the right to choose whatever I want.
And the thing is that it's really your duty as a citizen to vote.
Yep. And in the end, if she becomes president, I'm not moving to Switzerland. I'm not moving to New Zealand. I'm not moving to Canada or anything like that. So there you go. So get over it.
There you have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's up to you. It's incumbent on you to vote.
Yep. And if you don't vote, then shame on you. If you don't know the facts, shame on you.
They make it so easy to vote anymore. I still find it interesting that you don't need an ID to cast your vote.
Yeah.
That part always was weird to me. But
the interesting thing is I was always a Democrat at hand. I voted for Clinton twice, voted for Gore, voted for Kerry. It's just recently. It's just on the Democratic Party that I grew up with, and the party that my parents grew up with, and that I was a strong member of, is totally morphed into something that I can't recognize.
Yeah.
And for me, the number one issue is all these wars and all this other BS that's going on,
Yeah. War is a terrible thing. Chris J says, look at the Trump agenda. You will not be better off. That's clear. But hey, if the U.S. falls in the laughing stock of the world, you own it.
So this is a gentleman who's been probably watching too much MSNBC.
Well, it can happen.
So
I don't watch MSNBC, CNN, or Fox.
Exactly.
I don't want.
I just look at the records. I know the record that he had from 2016 to 2020, and I know the record that Biden has from 2020 to 2024. So I do my own analysis. It's very simple.
Yeah.
You look at your bottom line of your own finances and what's going on in the world, and then you make a decision. Is Trump the best? Is Trump the best? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Is he morally bankrupt? Totally.
100%.
And if somebody tells me that he's a threat to democracy, well, I'll just counter the point of, well, how can somebody run for president when they've never had one vote cast to them in a primary?
Yeah.
You tell me. That's handpicked, hand-chosen.
That is
don't even bring up January 6th when I have friends of mine who work, in Chicago and in Seattle and these other areas where their businesses and friends of theirs, their businesses were all ruined by, rioting and everything else. Mm-hmm. So, come on, let's get over all that political bullshit. It's what it is.
Right. Yeah.
And I love Brian, so.
Yeah. No, this guy that does a full educated decision, look at everything. Yeah, well, I look at the fact that she was not elected to be the nominee.
Yep.
This was all engineered behind the scenes.
Yep.
And I also look at the fact that in 4 years, she's really done nothing. I'm not going to disparage her and talk about intelligence and all that stuff, but to hear someone in power, yeah, but to hear someone who's been in power, the vice president for 4 years talk about how she's going to turn the economy around when for 4 years they did nothing to turn the economy around. But we're going to make sure that the woke agenda gets pushed forward. It's hard for me. It's a hard pill for me to swallow.
Like I said, I make my own choices based on what I see and what I saw. I watched that town hall with her and CNN, and that was about as awful to be. You know, when that
we there were elections. People did not. She was not a choice. In fact, most of the primary was so rigged that they weren't even allowed to have a choice on the Democratic ticket because they were so afraid that somebody else might get votes. But then after that debate, they started scrambling because it was obvious that they had been lying to us for 4 years about Biden's cognitive abilities. And I like Biden. Before his, I don't dislike Biden. I always thought he was a decent guy and a good public servant. And but they lied to us. They absolutely lied to us because
and she did a lot of lying. She went on TV and said his cognitive ability is wonderful. Everything is great.
Everything's
we
great.
obviously know that's not the truth.
There's nothing to see here.
So yeah, you could vote for her. I don't have, like I said, I have many friends who are liberal. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you look at your own bottom line as your pocketbook. As James Carville always once said, it's the economy, stupid.
Yeah. But we vote for the nominee with our delegate,
What about the disenfranchised 12 million votes that Biden got?
Right.
Just saying.
People were not voting for her. They were voting for Biden based on, whatever.
Those are 12 million people who knew all of Biden's 12 million people who knew about Biden's cognitive decline, and yet they voted for him still.
Right.
What about those people's votes?
And look, there's times when Trump just makes my skin crawl.
Sure, he's an idiot. He's a first-class moron. He says stupid things,
Oh,
but
God.
He's cringy.
Yeah, he's very.
And then you hear all these politicians. Oh, would you have Trump babysit your kids? Well, I'm not asking for a choir boy, to run the country, and I probably wouldn't have Biden babysit my kids because he'd probably forget where the kids are.
Right.
So come on, stop the nonsense.
Hazel says, though I wish he was more diplomatic, I feel President Trump would be much better option as president. Bottom line, you need to vote your conscience.
Exactly.
You need to vote.
Vote your conscience, pocketbook, your feeling, whatever you want to do. But
Hall says, both candidates are awful. Both lie. Both make promises they can't deliver. Pick whatever you think is the lesser.
Lucha, you should turn this into like a 4P political channel. You'd immediately get like 500,000 followers and subs. You'd make so much money. You'd be like, live streaming from Monaco, and you and I will be like make Europe great again. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Orko says Biden would sniff your kids.
So true. Oh, and your wife.
Yeah. Mr. G says I vote for what Elon supports. There you go. I'm a very middle of the road politics wise. I'm a fiscal conservative
and socially liberal.
Yeah.
Most people are.
I think most people are, and I don't think either party gives the majority of people a true option.
For me, Mark, the number one issue is economics. Number two is all this foreign bullshit that's going on out there. I'm sick of the shit I'm sick of the shit in Ukraine. I'm sick of the shit in the Middle East. I'm sick that we can't get along with Russia. I'm sick that our leaders can't get along with China. I'm sick of all this, because I traveled to China. I've been there. The people are great.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about China says they want to be part of the world, but we can't negotiate or do anything. Everything is us against them,
Right.
And the
Because
Democratic Party, yeah, and the Democratic Party used to be the party of anti-war. Now you see Kamala running around with Liz Cheney, that scum, and and her father, the scummiest scum that there is. To be honest with you, because I was dead against the Iraq War. The Democratic Party was against the Iraq War. Now they're for all these neocons, and I'm sick of
right.
it. How many more of our children? And I think I went on this rant before, but I'll do it one more time. How many more of our children and fathers and brothers and sisters have to die in these silly wars?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, we have veterans that are sleeping in the street. We have
That's
our
my
own
issue
kids.
right there.
Yeah, our kids have drug problems. Our seniors don't have access to medical care. And yet we have no problem going into these silly freaking wars
Yeah.
everywhere. And this iteration of the Democratic Party is nothing like your father's Democratic Party, and that's what I'm against. And I'm voting against that as a strong second. I'm sick of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. I hate
Totally sick of
the
it.
homelessness, especially among our veterans and among our
It's
people,
disgusting.
the people that are truly need help. There's so many homeless that have mental issues and need help, and then you get into the addiction.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
In my office, I see a
Christian, heal
lot of
thyself.
veterans. Yeah, I see a lot of veterans in my office that literally, don't have money to buy medications, or they don't have access to quality of health care. And yet we've given hundreds of, if not trillions of dollars to all this crap in the
Yeah,
Middle East. And look at what we have to show for, a destabilized Middle East. That's what
right.
we've had.
Well, that's what
And
we
you're
create.
now, and the most cringeworthy reason why I can't stand Kamala is because she's traveling around with Liz Cheney, and a warmonger to
Yeah,
me. And if you're a Democrat, can you imagine having her sit in your cabinet?
yeah,
Think about that. She's going to have a position in her cabinet. A Democrat, and I watch the Young Turks, and I listen to that Cenk Uygur, and he
yeah,
said it exactly right. How the hell can the Democratic Party have somebody like this neocon go around with our president, with the vice president, and expect her not to have some position in her cabinet? Is this
yeah.
a joke? There you go.
No, I get it.
Yeah, it's an absolute joke.
It's pretty weird.
And what scares the hell out of me is if she wins, we're probably going to be tied up in Ukraine, and who knows what else is going to happen, you
Mhm.
know?
Well, and I look at it like this, because Chris J said, so you would let Putin invade another country. Well, how many places we try to invade? How many, and we had a huge civil war, and we were, lucky to keep people out of it because the people that
Obviously,
the
you know,
people that would have been in it
let's
would,
talk about the US.
yeah,
What about our involvement in Vietnam,
right,
Afghanistan, uh, Iraq? In fact, what happened is if you read a biography about Putin, what changed him is when he first came to power, he was cozying up to the West, and
yeah,
him and Bush had a pretty good relationship. What changed was the Iraq War and what the U.S. did in Iraq.
mm-hmm,
That's what changed his relationship with the
right,
U.S. So if you're saying Putin invading another country, in his mind and in most of the world's mind, the U.S. invaded Iraq.
yeah, it wasn't as
So there you go. And from what I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, Lucha, but I think during Trump's 4 years, I don't believe he was going into Kiev.
right.
And I do remember that Obama had given him Crimea. if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I think, Chris, with all due respect, you need to study some history a little bit better.
But yeah, that's Chris says you're not up on your history or Putin
Oh, yeah.
himself.
All right. So I'm not up on my history. That's fine.
Yeah, Billy says all I know is I was better off 4 years ago than I am today. I think everybody is.
Yep. And I
Uh,
think the world was a hell of a lot more peaceful 4 years ago than it was today as well.
well, yeah, and you look at what's happening in
It's a mess.
Gaza and Lebanon and Iran, and
It's a
we're
total mess.
firing bombs into what Yemen. So I
Yep.
mean, it's just crazy.
It's absolutely crazy.
Bruce G says he suggests the topic page. I agree, Bruce. I
All
think
right.
political rant for the week.
Well, Mark, I tried to switch your channel to a 4P. It looks like the
I'm just very middle of the road. I would love to have a better Democratic Party. I would love a third party option.
I would just like a better Democratic Party candidate that I could vote for.
Yeah.
I would really love somebody from the Democratic Party that's actually could make a sentence together instead of a whole bunch of word salads that goes nowhere.
Yeah. Logan says, I think it's funny. I think what's funny is we like to pretend one party perfectly represents us when we have not had a genuine political candidate that represents the American working class in decades. Yeah. And even if they go in with the best of intentions, the problem is whoever gets in, the military industrial complex runs the country.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, there was no greater military personality than Eisenhower. He said, "Hey, watch out for these guys." Says he was on his way out. So that's part of the problem.
Yep.
But yeah, it is what it is. It'll be interesting to see what happens and how it plays out. I'm not sure. But it's good to be able to have an opinion for everyone to be able to share in that opinion. I believe because that's part of what we're missing these days is because everyone is so polarized that we there is no debate anymore. It's name calling and side taking. There's and that's when love him, hate him, whatever. Ronald Reagan, at least during the Ronald Reagan days, the parties reached out across the aisle to get things done. And that seems to be a huge part of what we're missing.
Let me tell you something, Mark. In 1980, when my parents voted, right, they
Mm-hmm.
were one of 10 people that voted for Carter. Okay,
There you go.
because they saw him, like they said with Carter, he didn't go out looking for trouble, right? Trouble just found him.
Yes.
And he was an honest man, and that was his problem. He was an honest man, and he spoke honestly to people about the situation, and we know how that is, right? We know how that ended up. So it's unfortunate that days of honest politics and honest politicians are long gone. Everybody has an angle,
Yeah, who else I liked? I liked Ford. I actually thought he was a good civil servant. Was put in a bad situation. He was never going to win, but he was. You're a good man when people are like, we need.
Well, I can be honest with you. In 2000, when I was very politically active, I campaigned for Gore Lieberman very actively, to the point of funding a lot of the lawyers in Florida because I thought Bush cheated in that election. I thought the Supreme Court, and I still believe that way.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court cheated Vice President Gore out of the duly election. So that's just my opinion.
Right.
And then in 2004, I canvassed and supported John Kerry for president because I wanted to end the war in Iraq. desperately, and unfortunately it didn't work out. So, I put my money where my mouth is on positions that I firmly believe in,
Right.
you know. And that party of John Kerry, the party of Al Gore, Bill Clinton, those people, and they were good people, are not the party anymore. So, anyways,
Yeah. But let's see. Chris J says, "Oh, we'll win with this. My opinion is you have two choices. If Trump is your choice, I will love to have this talk again in 4 years. I'm sure you won't like your decision." There you go.
yeah,
That's the thing.
that's fair.
The
That's
hanging
fair.
chads. I forgot the hanging chads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DCLD reminds us that running for president is a sucker's bet. Just run for Senate or Congress and you get your bank account fat on all the insider trading. No term limits either. Why would our best even want to run? Well, that's part of the problem. Why our best don't want to be involved in that.
And John Kerry was the worst. Can you pull up Billy? So,
first of all,
I
you
will.
don't carry wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And, I personally, I thought at that point in my life, I was sick of the Iraq war.
Yeah.
I think all of us were. I've been to many funerals, and until you've gone to funerals, I told the story about my father going to a funeral of a slain son of a coworker, which was one of the first soldiers to die in Iraq, and
Yeah.
and it was gut wrenching, and it changes your perspective about war.
True. It is true. So, what do you think about football?
Tim Walz.
Yeah, Tim Walz. We do have football this week.
Let's go. That was my transition. So for the
Maybe we can
politics
all
part of
agree.
the show is
Maybe we
over,
can
and now
all
we're
agree
gonna
on
get.
sports.
Yeah, exactly. I never watched baseball, but I've been watching the last two games, and it's been seriously good.
So,
Seriously good.
baseball, I believe, is the best game. And
I'm not sure about that, Mark. We might have another disagreement now. Let's don't get
because,
crazy.
yeah, you can't just put one player up the bat. You have to give the other, you have to get 27 outs. You have to give the other team their last at bat. I just think it's, and the defense has the ball.
Yeah.
Which makes it different. But anyway, we've got it 1:00. The Eagles and the Bengals.
I'm gonna pick the Bengals. And what's the line on that one?
The line is looks like Cincinnati minus 2.5.
Oh, I'll take the Bengals and the points.
Take the Bengals and the points.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of I don't know what to make of either of these teams this year. They're Jekyll and Hyde, but I think at home 2.5. I like the Bengals as well.
Can I give you a fun stat? Can I just
Sure.
give you something? One of my friends sent me this. If the Seahawks lose at home to the Bills, which most likely they will,
Okay.
and if the Cardinals lose at Miami, which they might because Tua is playing, right? And the Niners lose to the Cowboys, which I hate to say this after last week's debacle, which is likely because the Cowboys are coming off of a week off, right? The Rams are in first place.
Wow.
They were 1-4,
Yep.
won 2 games in 5 days, and they're going to be possibly at the end of the day today. They could be in first place.
That's crazy.
Isn't that the absolute unbelievable? Because when I was down there in LA, I was talking to one of our friends in the community. We were talking about, wouldn't it be funny if the Rams actually won the division? And now it's looking like there's a serious chance of them actually winning the NFC West.
Yeah. JT Harry says, duck the Fodgers.
Oh, Now we're getting personal.
Now it's getting. Now we're getting
Now,
real.
forget politics. This is now personal.
James Hess is in the chat. He upvoted, reminding everyone to hit that upvote button. And DC and LV says, "Let's go Yankees."
Oh, DC! Oh my God! I'm going to take back everything I said about him.
All right, so the next game up on the 1 o'clock spread is the Battle of the Browns, the old Browns, the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes.
It's the new Browns.
Take Baltimore and any points you might want to give me.
8 points. Yeah, the Browns are a dumpster right now.
Horrible team.
Do you think that they wish that they had never traded for Deshaun Watson?
You think
about Baker Mayfield, but he won some. He won a playoff. He won a playoff game in Pittsburgh.
Well,
you got to
Mark. You know they don't call Cleveland the mistake by the lake for a reason.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Then you have the Titans at the Lions. The Lions are
Lions
12 and a half point favorites.
Yeah, sorry, Logan, but the Fighting Logan Hall grill streams would probably have a better chance if Logan was grilling instead of them playing football.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad team. Cardinals at the Dolphins.
What's the line on that? I'm just kind of curious. What's the line on that one?
Miami's getting Miami -4. So the Cardinals are getting 4 points. I'm
going to go with Miami on that one.
All right.
What did you take on the Titans versus the Lions? It's a 12-point spread. You're going to take the Lions in the 12?
12 and a half, yeah.
Oh.
It's a lot. Right.
Well, I'm just so tempted when I see huge lines like that. I'm like,
a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. I just might take the Titans and the points on that one.
My thing is the Lions just look so good.
They're good.
All phases of the game.
I read a stat the other day that the team that the Lions play, right, the following week, those teams have all lost.
Yeah.
Did you read that stat?
I saw that. It was on one of the Talking Head shows. They brought that up.
Yeah, I can't remember. I read that stat somewhere else. You know, it's just they play. I mean, they play like pretty hard. And I have to give the Rams credit. The first game of the year, they played the Lions really well. You know, yeah, when they were at full health.
Well, they're at full health, and it's the first couple games are always because they don't play any of their starters in the preseason. I don't even know why they have the preseason.
I can't wait for you to get to the Niners game. So let's keep going.
All right, the New York.
I'm going to warn you. I'm going to go off on a rant when it comes to the Niners. So let's go.
The New York Jets at the Patriots. The Jets -7. So the Patriots.
Oh, I'll take the Patriots.
You're taking the Patriots?
I'm taking the Patriots.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers just doesn't seem to have it anymore. I'm going to take I'm going to take the Patriots in the points. I don't know that they win the game, but I think it's closer.
Yeah, exactly.
The Patriots are having all kinds of internal turmoil, starting with ownership and just trickling down through the team.
Yeah, shows you how great Tom Brady was, right?
Yeah. Falcons at the Buccaneers. Atlanta -2 on the road.
I think that's because if I'm not mistaken, Mike Evans.
All the receivers are out.
Receivers are out, right?
Yeah.
And is there a better value for value quarterback better than Baker Mayfield?
For value, he's right up.
He deserves everything he's getting too.
I liked him with the Browns. I didn't understand why they wanted to move on. I mean, I just as an outsider looking in, I'm like, why would you want to get rid of that guy? He's got a little bit of moxie. He's gutsy.
Right.
I just didn't get it. But
I liked him when he was. The funny thing is you look at he was with the Panthers, right, for a while, and look at what happened there. What a crap of an organization that is.
Yeah.
Isn't the same guy that owns No, that's David Tepper, not
David
Stevie
Pepper.
Cohen. Yeah. I always get Stevie Cohen, who owns the Mets,
Yeah.
confused with David Tepper. Next up,
we got the Packers at the Jaguars.
take the Packers in every point.
It's only 3.5. That's shocking to me.
That is shocking.
Because I think the Packers will blow them away.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Then the Colts at the Texans. The Colts are probably the most surprising 4-3 team going. Houston's 4.5-point favorites.
I'll take the Texans at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Texans as well. And then we get into the 4 o'clock window. We got the Saints at the Chargers.
That was I don't know if you watched that Monday night game, but that was a horrible loss by the Chargers. I mean,
Chargers are 7-point favorites.
Well, although I don't think Derek Carr is
playing quarterback, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the reason. The Chargers have to get this one. I just think if the Chargers had a wide receiver that because the one that they had
trade them all away.
Yeah, they had to release him because they were so over the cap. I still have the Chargers making the playoffs this year, though.
So the Chargers are 3-3. The Saints are 2-5. 7 points is a lot, though, for two teams that struggle offensively.
What's your pick?
I'm going to take the Saints and the points. I think the Chargers win by 3.
Okay, I'll take the Chargers and the points at home.
Then we've got the Bills at the Seahawks.
And as a Niners fan, you know who I'm looking at.
You're looking at the Bills. Seattle's tough place to play. Buffalo -3. So Seattle's getting 3 points at home?
No way. I'll take the Bills and the points.
Yeah. No. Seattle's tough, though.
They're not that good, Mark.
You don't think they're that good? Oh,
they're not that good. Yeah, they're not that good.
All right, I'll take the Bills. -3. Then you've got the Panthers at the Broncos. The Broncos are 11.5 favorites. That's a big line.
Yeah, and the Panthers are awful.
And I think Bryce Young is playing.
Oh, I hate to do this. I'll take the Panthers and the points.
11.5 points. That's a lot of points.
That is. Take the Panthers and the points.
Take the Panthers and the points as well.
That's a lot to pass up. That is a lot to pass up.
The Raiders are home dogs by 9 against the Chiefs.
Oh, I'll take the Chiefs and the points.
Yeah. I just don't see the Raiders just don't see anything this year. The Bears at the Commanders.
What's the line?
Washington by 1, but I believe Mariota's playing quarterback because I think Jalen Daniels.
I'll take that. See, I love lines like this because when it's like even or close, it's like a coin flip, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Bears in the points on this one.
Yeah, me too.
I can't resist that.
I think Jaden Daniels being out, he seems to make that team run.
Right.
Not that Mariota's terrible, but the Bears seems like every week play a little bit better.
Yeah.
And their rookie quarterback gets a little bit better every week. So, I think I'm going to take the Bears in the 1. Then you have your game, George.
Yeah, yep.
The Niners are 5-point favorites at home versus the Cowboys.
Okay.
So, I don't think the Cowboys are very good.
So this is what I think. And I hate to say this as a Niners fan. If the Niners lose this game, if they lose it, you're going to have to clean house.
Yeah.
This is the make or break game for the 49ers season right here. Right here. And if they lose this game, they have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. If they lose this game, there's nothing for them to win because they're not going to win. They just aren't going to win. And this is it. Shanahan's 8th season. 10-point Shanahan is what I call him because every time he has a 10-point lead in the 4th in a major, divisional in the conference championship or in the Super Bowl, he finds a way to choke. So this is it. And now he's throwing Purdy under the bus. which is even worse.
Yeah.
So he's inept. He can't call a game right, And you look at McVay, no wide receivers, and yet, he won a couple of games, and now he's right back into contention, right? And
Right.
you have, who is it? Is it Samuel's out for the year?
Yeah. Or no, Ayuk.
Ayuk. Yeah, I'm sorry. Ayuk is out for the year. You're right. And McCaffrey hasn't played, and you have one of the highest payrolls in the league.
I just think the Cowboys are bad. They're soft. They're missing a couple people still on defense, and I don't know.
Well, I know they're missing Parsons. I know that for sure. I don't know who
Former
else they're
Penn
missing.
State legend, Micah Parsons.
Right.
I'm going to take San Francisco in the points.
Oh, I just have a bad feeling about this.
I think the Cowboys are another one. They're just a dumpster fire this year. It's all about Jerry and all the outside noise, and just the team has not played well. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I don't know.
I think to be honest with you, I think if Mike McCarthy watched Steve Spagnuolo's tape on how to play Brock Purdy, basically, I think you may have seen the stat where his completion rate when you're playing zone is like off the charts, like 80%.
But the Chiefs actually the Chiefs are winning with defense this year.
But you know what, though?
They have a good defense. Dallas does not.
Dallas's secondary is not bad. It's just, because their front line and their linebackers their D line and their linebackers are injured, I think, right?
Yeah, but even when Parsons was in there, they played one good game but that was against Cleveland.
Yeah. We shall see. This should be a good one, but I don't know. I think there's just a lot more turmoil in the Niners camp.
Yeah.
And division. I think
I think it's the opposite. I think the turmoil is in Dallas. I mean, you got Jerry Jones going on.
There's always turmoil in Dallas, isn't there?
He's going to get, hosts fired for asking him questions, and I don't know. It just looks like a clusterfuck this year.
Well, the Niners don't exactly look pretty either.
No, neither one of them do. But I'm going to take the Niners. I think the Niners.
Okay.
I think they got a 4-4, which might be enough to put them at the top of the division.
Yeah, that would be unbelievable. If they won, they are in first place, and if the other two teams lose, right?
And then Monday night, you have the New York Football Giants at my Pittsburgh Steelers.
The question is going to be in this game is how many bones is Jones going to get broken by the Steelers defense?
He could
forget the line on this game.
Yeah, he could get beat up.
How many times is TJ Watt going to break his tackle?
Highsmith
tackle or whatever.
You got the Watt and Highsmith angle.
Yeah.
And you got Landon Roberts and Patrick Queen in the middle, and then the secondary is playing well with Porter and Fitzpatrick. I mean, it could be a brutal game for the Giants.
What's the line on this one?
Giants are getting 5.5.
So it's the Steelers by 5.
Yeah, but I mean, Russell put up 37 points last week, which is like
on the Jets
4-year high for Pittsburgh. Yeah. And the Jets, I think one about Aaron Rodgers, their defense isn't bad,
Yeah, I think it won't even. That's an easy one. Steelers in the points. I cannot see Daniel Jones standing in the pocket with TJ Watt running down his neck.
All right, so sorry guys, I was on the ESPN site, not checking the chat. So Dirk Diggler's in the chat. Hello, Dirk. He says, "Hey, Rodgers for life, homie." Yeah. All right. Oh, Fernando, Fernando Valenzuela just passed away.
I was in LA during Fernando Mania.
Yeah, that was
growing up, and the 1981 World Championship,
yep.
World Series with Fernando. And I think 88, I remember I was in Vegas with my parents with Kirk Gibson's famous home run in the first inning, or the ninth inning in the first game. Remember that one?
Off of Eckersley, yeah.
Yeah, off of Dennis Eckersley
Barely walked.
with Mike Davis. I think everybody forgets who was on base, but it was Mike Davis. I think he was on. Yeah. They signed Mike Davis for like $1 billion that year, and he couldn't even hit 200. And yet somehow, some way, he found a way to get on base for Kirk Gibson.
Got on base for Kirk Gibson. Billy says, I go back on Baltimore, and I used to have the Colts, used to be the ball coach. Yeah, so, the Colts leaving, Baltimore, Cleveland going to Baltimore. That's what makes that game, everybody thinks that the Steelers and Cleveland are a rivalry. They really aren't. It's the rivalry left with the Ravens. When the Browns left to go to Baltimore, that became the rivalry.
Yep.
The Browns just haven't been good enough to make it a rivalry.
No.
Here and there, but nothing consistent, where Baltimore has been consistent.
Absolutely.
Dirk Diggler is taking the Titans plus 12.
Yeah, I got that too. I agree with that.
Lions. Logan Hall says, haha, I'll take the Lions too. The Titans are shit this year. They are not playing well. I think that they thought Levis was going to be the real deal. I question getting rid of what's his name, the head coach.
Vrabel.
I thought he was a good head coach.
I questioned them getting rid of Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that too.
They had an identity, The Titans were always like buttoned up team, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were buttoned up.
Well, they always played you tough, even if they didn't win. It was a tough game.
Yeah.
Now
now it's horrible.
Fernando's son played at UNLV. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, Dodgers look good. Rogers will have Woody Hayes fired.
Yeah.
Rogers is a walking excuse machine. He just
pretty much.
He looks like a shell of himself.
Yeah.
I hate to see those guys hanging on for one more year. He just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And his just the look on his face, the way his body looks, he just looks defeated.
Right. And you have to think, like, at the age of 40, Brady was still winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Right. That just tells you
it's not easy to do. But Tom Brady became, I don't think that he came out of college this way, but he became like a nutrition and workout and regimen fanatic. That is not Aaron Rodgers.
No.
He
took the profession seriously,
Yeah. And Dirk says, I think the Jags might sneak in an upset. I know it's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's another terrible team.
Yeah. That's gone to hell. Trevor Lawrence, you talk about paying the wrong quarterback. I don't know what he deserved to make that kind of money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Because he hasn't proven anything at this level.
No, he had one good half of football, and that was followed with one terrible half of football.
Yep.
But
yeah, it's what it is. The NFL is still, I think, just on a par for its own, by far, way ahead of Major League Baseball.
Well, the marketing machine that is the NFL is amazing.
Yeah. And Major League Baseball, always good to see a Dodgers, New York, series. It's better than a San Diego, Cleveland,
Yeah.
So, but the reality is, Mark, is that baseball. The problem with baseball is I wish they would have had a Sunday game to compete, with the NFL, because that would give them some, at least like a little credibility, like, hey, we're coming. You know what I'm saying? We're coming for you. But
no,
kind of chickened out.
Yeah, no such thing.
Nope.
but it's still kind of amazing that I love the game. Baseball and hockey I always loved more than football as far as playing and being part of. The thing with baseball is that people think it's boring and slow, and it is, but
Mhm.
it's the fairest game because you can't run out the clock. You can't. You have to give the other team the at bat. You can't just feed one person the ball. There's things that make
Like
baseball.
like Dirk Diggler, I was raised in, Southern California. So growing up, it was just always the Dodgers and it was always the Lakers. It was basically, a Dodger Laker town, right?
Hmm.
The Lakers in the 80s are the team of the 80s. Then again in 2000s, the Dodgers were good in the 80s and then bad in the 90s and 2000s. It took them forever to win one from 1988. The next championship was 2020. So there's there's a huge life. I mean, in LA, so many Dodger fans everywhere, loyal fans, et cetera, et cetera. I read a great article on the LA Times about Fernando Mania and what it did in Los Angeles. And basically, back in when the O'Malleys moved the Dodgers to LA, right? They were playing in the Coliseum, and Rose Bowl, and all these other places. So they had bought land in north of LA called Chavez Ravine, right?
Hey, all
And
right.
yeah, and in that area, there were a lot of homes that belonged to Hispanic people.
Yeah.
So they used a clause called eminent domain, right?
Yep.
And they moved all these people out of there. So after a while, there was like the Hispanic community did not like the Dodgers because of what they did in the community. So when Fernando came, he actually bridged that gap between the Hispanic community and the Dodgers,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest is history, right?
Hundred
The rest
percent.
is history.
Fernando Mania was
Yeah,
definitely a thing, and it definitely helped. But yeah, you're right. They moved in Chavez Ravine, and they
yeah,
booted everybody out. And
right. Was an interesting. It's an interesting read on what happened during that time. Very interesting.
Tan's in the chat. Good to see our good friend Tan.
Hey, Ken.
Is Dirk? We talking Willie Mays Hayes?
Yeah,
You what do you say? You may run like Hayes, but you hit like shit.
yeah.
That's great. Yeah, Willie Mays Hayes.
I just remember Lester the Judge Hayes,
Ah,
the cornerback of the L.A. Raiders,
yeah.
paired up with Mike Haynes.
Mike
Remember
Hayes. Yeah.
Mike Haynes and Lester the Judge
Yeah,
Hayes.
Mike Hayes, they got in a trade with New England.
Yep,
And that was a
part of
four.
the 1985 NFL Super Bowl champion L.A. Raiders. The last time the Raiders won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. But yeah, that was he was a great corner. They were both great
Oh,
cornerbacks. Lester was like the last of the Stickum guys.
stick 'em guys. And Lester used to have he used to wrap up his arms. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he used to whack people across the.
Yep.
And him and Ted. Who was the other one that used to? Ted Hendricks. You remember him?
Oh, Ted Hendricks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who was Jack Tatum before them?
Jack Tatum.
They Call Me
Yeah,
Assassin was his book.
yeah.
Yeah, those were
Wasn't Jack? Who was the one that crippled
Jack Tatum.
Daryl Stingley? Wasn't it Tatum?
Yep.
And isn't Stingley's son or a relative or somebody in
One of
the for the
the
Texans?
Yeah, yeah, I believe it's the Texans.
Stingley, yeah, yeah. Those were the good Raider teams.
And Lalo Zado came over
Yep.
from Broncos.
Len Matuzik. You remember Len Matuzik? Art Shell. Yeah.
Uh,
James Van Egan,
who was the story?
Marcus Allen,
Guy. Who was That was Hendricks.
Ted Hendricks.
Yeah, Ted Hendricks. He was the
Matt
story.
Millen. Matt Millen was on the team.
Penn State legend.
Yep. Thought you might like that.
Yeah.
Marcus Allen, USC legend.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Plunkett. You know.
Plunkett. How about that guy?
Oh yeah.
Went from bust. Was a bust in New England. Was playing backup quarterback in San Francisco.
Yep.
It's thrust into starting for the Raiders.
And the rest is history.
2 Super Bowls.
Tom Flores.
Yeah.
Yeah. Legendary teams. I just can't. Cliff Branch.
Cliff Branch, number 21.
Yep.
And
so underrated.
Who was the other receiver? We're 25. Blitnikoff. Fred Blitnikoff.
Yeah. That was pre LA Raiders time.
Yeah, that was Oakland.
My father still has an LA Raiders hat. Hat at home. Yeah.
Remember they sued the NFL.
Dave Casper. You remember Dave Casper?
Oh, the GOAT. Yeah.
And then Ray Guy. He was still punting for the.
He said, "Yeah, Ray Guy."
Yeah, Ray Guy. How could you miss Ray Guy?
The greatest punter ever.
Yep.
John D said the Oakland Dodgers played at Ebbets Field until '57, when they moved to the West Coast and became the evil nemesis of all New Yorkers. No friendly welcome when they land in New York for Game 3. Look out.
Yeah.
Laying down the law is John D.
Right.
Which is appropriate because he is the law.
I remember watching the 81 World Series between the Dodgers and the Yankees, and I thought that was a good series.
That was a good series. I remember, it 77 and 78 when the Yankees won both?
Yep.
Then the Pirates won in 79.
80, I think it was the Phillies.
Yeah, 80 was the Pete Rose Phillies.
Yeah.
Pete Rose, Mike Schmidt. Greg Lazinski played on that team.
Yeah. Tug McGraw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun team. Steve Carlton.
And then Mike Schmidt, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good games.
Yeah. Those good times. Those were good teams. Definitely.
Well, it's not your mother's Raiders anymore, though. It's awful.
It's pretty
just
terrible.
Awful. Quarterback plays awful. Linebacking, everything is awful with the Raiders. What do you do?
Yeah. They're Mark Davis is no Al Davis.
No idea. Mark Davis sucks. Jesus.
Yeah, Al Davis knew the game.
Incompetent. It's just like, I've always said this, like the late great Jerry Buss. His daughter is not a good owner. Just awful. Jeannie Buss is just awful.
Jeannie Buss also owns the LA Sparks of the WNBA, and he owns a wrestling organization called WOW, Women of Wrestling, that my friend's daughter wrestles for.
There you go. Just goes to prove nepotism is alive and well.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. It happens.
It happens in life. Anyways, now that we've got the NFL discussed, we've got politics under the hood, we got all the drama in the watch community. What else is left, Mark?
Breakfast.
There you go. I've seen this one. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it was pretty tasty. Yeah, so we've got the politics, we've got the NFL. We can go into, we talked a little bit about the baseball. It's tough being down 2-0.
Yeah.
2 for the Yankees.
What did you think? Did you watch? I'm assuming you watched those Dodgers Yankees games. Had you watched both of them?
I watched a lot of it. Yeah.
Okay. So my wife looked at me because she's not really into sports, and she said, "What do you think is worse, losing the World Series like they did on Game 1 for the Yankees, or losing the World Series like Game 2?" with the bases loaded, having back-to-back-to-back hits, and
Neither one of those. Yeah,
I'm
no
like,
one
that's
of
a
those.
great question.
But I gotta believe game one because you think you got it, even though you loaded the bases. You think you've been ahead, and you think you got it, and then boom.
Right.
I mean, first pitch.
Yeah.
Just there
I
was
don't know,
no
Mark.
doubt about it.
Yeah, I don't know, because it's like, oh, the game two was a little bit more gut wrenching because it was there because, it was like Soto started off with a long single, right? And then Chisholm got a hit, and then Stanton got a hit, and you had a run in. The tying runs are on base, and
Right.
and
You had
it's
that
like,
fortuitous bounce off third base to get a run in,
right,
and you think you might have a chance, but
yeah, I don't
they're
know.
both walk-offs in a way. But even if New York scores, it's not the end of the game because the Dodgers have to come to bat.
Mhm.
Whereas in game one, that was it.
Yes,
And it was it in a hurry.
yeah,
The first pitch to him, and it just boom. And
yeah, it's amazing. I thought I was watching that, and I thought, that's bad. But then I keep thinking about the the that game two and the way they lost. It was just like, dang,
yeah,
because like Judge was there and he struck out again.
he's not having a good World
Oh
Series.
my God, it was just misery. It's like the epitome of what's happening in the series to him. Struck out, and then who's the other one that struck out? Volpe.
Yeah,
Yeah, struck out, and I'm like, damn. I'm not I love the Dodgers and whatever, but you just want to see a series where it's like you want to go with full seven and see what
yeah. I mean,
happens.
the games have been
Dang.
competitive. They've been competitive. So John D
Yeah.
said Doug McGraw was the man. George Voorhees
Yeah.
started the New York Mets rally cry from '73. He would come off the mound, slapping his glove and yelling, "You gotta
Oh
believe!"
yeah. Oh yeah. And if
It."
I do remember correctly, I could be wrong, but wasn't Steve Carlton, wasn't Lefty on that team? I think he was.
No. Nolan Ryan and Tom Seaver.
Oh, you're talking about the Mets. I was talking
Yeah.
about the Phillies. I was
Oh, the
thinking of the
Phillies. Yeah,
Phillies.
Steve Carlton lefty was on.
Yeah, the 1980s team,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
He was amazing to watch.
And I just remember the catcher was Bob Boone because he moved to the California Angels back in
Well, it was Bob
after.
Boone unless Steve Carlton was pitching, because
Yeah.
Steve Carlton had his own personal catcher in Tim
Yeah.
McCarver.
Yeah.
He came from St. Louis with him.
Hmm. Yeah, that was the 1980 team, if I'm not mistaken, had Mike Schmidt. Was it Larry Boa on the team?
Yeah,
Was
Larry
I
Boa.
mistaken? Right.
Yeah, he rose at first. I can't remember who the second baseman was.
Was it Manny Trujillo? That's what I'm thinking.
It could
Manny
have been.
Trujillo,
It could have
right?
been trio
Or it
from.
could have been Pete Rose, right?
No, Pete Rose was playing first.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Then you
I'm
had Greg.
trying to.
You had a tall, skinny guy who played center field for them. I gotta look
Yeah.
it
Was
up.
it? Oh, Maddox, Maddox,
Maddox. Yes.
Maddox, Gary Maddox. Yeah,
Yeah. Gary Maddox.
yeah. Because he had the huge afro. I remember.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And I can't remember who the right fielder was.
Uh, Lonnie, somebody. I'm trying
Uh,
to remember through my. Lonnie Smith. Was it Lonnie Smith? Does that name ring a bell?
I
Because he
know
played for the Cardinals.
I can't remember if he was the guy. Let's see. All right, so in the outfield, Lonnie Smith. It was Lonnie Smith.
Dang. See, now
And
that's an
he
old guy.
also because he would platoon because Bake McBride was on that team too.
Oh yeah, Bake. I remember that name.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then I remember you saying Greg Luzinski too, right?
yeah. Greg Wilzinski, the Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you had Manny Trio was the second baseman. Larry Boa.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good team.
Yeah, that was a good team.
I mean,
People, yeah,
if you had, who was it? Mike Schmidt, you had Steve Carlton, Pete Rose, right?
yeah,
Damn, you had three of the, the best players in all of baseball history,
and you had the advantage of George Brett sitting out a couple games with hemorrhoids.
right?
That was the hemorrhoid.
Literally sitting out.
Yeah,
Not he's not sitting
not,
out, but he was
he was
standing out.
standing
Yeah,
out. Yeah, that was the
yeah,
famous hemorrhoid series.
yeah.
George Brett was one of my favorite players growing up because I played third base.
Mm.
He was one of my guys. Judge has to step it up. They're there despite his hitting this postseason. A buck 50 batting average is not going to cut it. Yeah, but
Not at 40 or 50 million a year like he's getting. I remember your Pittsburgh Pirates had a really good third baseman, Bill Matlock. Remember him?
yeah, he won a few batting titles.
Yes. And I remember him at the later stages of his career. I think it was like 86 or something, joined the Dodgers, I think.
Might have. So he
Yeah.
played with the Cubs, and then he played with the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to Pittsburgh, and he was integral in turning. He helped turn that team around because that team was pretty good. You had Willie Stargell, you had Bill Madlock, you had
Did you guys have Kent Colby?
you had Kenta Colby. Bill Garner batted 300 that year playing second
Scrap
base,
iron.
scrap iron. You had a
He played for the Dodgers too, if I remember, later on in his career.
You had Dave Parker, who was
Oh yeah, the Cobra.
best player. Yeah, he was the best player in the league for a couple years
Yeah.
there. And you had the platoon in the left of John Milner and Bill Robinson, and Omar Marino, our tall, skinny guy in center.
Yep. I remember him. Yep.
Yeah. Tim Foley, who played short and batted second. He was a great bunter. He wasn't the best hitter, but he was a good fielder. He was a great bunter. Then you had a platoon behind the plate of Ed Ott and Steve Nikosha, I believe, was the other guy. You didn't have much pitching on that team. You had Blyleven, you had Keeson, you had Don Robinson. They were all okay,
Right.
But, boy, could they hit the ball.
Good teams. Legendary teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember, was it 85? Was it
85 was the Royals.
Yeah.
Royals over the Cardinals.
Yeah, I remember that game because it was in LA. I remember Tom Niedenfuhr, who was the Dodgers closer in Game 5, gave up that home run to Jack. I can't remember his last name. Oh, jeez. Do you remember that? It was a Game 5. It was Jack somebody. Played for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I can picture him.
Yeah, I can see his name.
He went on to play with the Giants.
Yes.
And I can picture the guy.
Yeah, I can see him. Big, tall dude, can't run.
Tall, tough-looking dude.
Yeah.
Kind of surly attitude.
Yeah. Yes.
Was it Jack Clark?
Jack Clark. That's it. Yeah. I remember that broke my heart. That was tough. And then the sad thing about it is a few years later, I think. No, it wasn't Tom Niedenfuhr. It was Donnie Scott. Remember that guy?
Oh yeah,
He pitched within a couple of years. This all happened. Then Don Niedenfuhr gave Don Scott or whatever, I forgot his name, but Donnie Scott or somebody, the reliever of the Angels, gave a home run to Darryl. Yeah, he committed suicide afterwards.
Running in Boston. Yeah.
Yes.
The next year, that was the '86.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was like back-to-back seasons of like.
Yeah, that was terrible.
And you just think about like Nestor and the Yankees pitcher that gave up the grand slam. You're like, you'd rather just have him give a base hit and 2-run score. You know what I'm saying? Versus a grand salami. Oh well.
That's just got to be the sickest feeling,
Absolutely.
especially during the World Series.
Yeah. That's the worst, you know. But but you look at it, I just think like the NL had so many better teams, right, than the AL this year. It just seemed like I never got, like Cleveland never seemed like they were a scary team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, who's out there in the NL AL that's like really good, you know?
The
And
Yankees are loaded.
yeah, it's just the Yankees, and then who
Blue
else?
Jays, yeah, Baltimore had a decent team for a while.
But they never
Houston,
struck fear, right?
right.
They never struck fear. It was like you could see the talent on the problem is in baseball, you have to have like, as you got to have 1 through 9.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's
for
the thing.
the,
Everyone has to bat.
right,
You got to get
that's right,
27 outs to win the
that's
game.
right. And
And
the interesting thing is like with the Yankees, they're top heavy.
yeah,
If you can, like Soto and Judge and Stanton, right?
right.
And I've always thought like, uh, if you just walk Stanton,
Yeah.
or not Stanton, but Soto,
Mhm.
I thought that would be like the way the way to go. But who knows, right? It's always good. It's always good strategizing.
Oh, it is. It is. And then, well, it's just like the other night when they walked uh,
Bets.
Betts. They walked
Yeah.
Mookie Betts, and then
Yeah.
boom. You just never know. So often those decisions come back to bite you in the ass.
Right.
At least the memorable ones. Good morning, Sean.
Hey, Sean. Hey, Sean. If you're still online, I did watch some of Timmy's stream, and I wanted to congratulate you on your new pickup.
What did you pick up?
I think it's a paddock, I believe, and
Okay.
it's one of those. Maybe he can hop on the stream. I don't know the exact model. I didn't see the whole thing. I just saw it like on the wrist and everything. It's one of those with the bracelet that has a silky mesh bracelet. Oh gosh, I forgot the number. It's a vintage. I know that. I don't know what year. I think it looks more like the early '70s, but I'm not
Oh,
sure. Uh, and I don't know where he got it from or anything
yeah.
like that. But yeah, it is a really nice vintage paddock.
Beautiful vintage
Yeah.
pat. Keslowitz will be very happy that you got a
Oh,
paddock.
I'm sure. Kessler is always, you mentioned the word paddock, and it's always amazing how he
Boom.
appears in the
Yeah.
chats.
Just boom. All of a sudden, there he is.
Yeah, yeah,
It is amazing. How are we
yeah.
doing on the upvotes, guys? Let's see where we're at. We try to get between 30 and 40. We've got 22. Oh, geez. If you
Must
haven't
have,
hit the vote, please do.
must have been the political BS, Mark.
We got some downvotes.
Right.
I thought we were pretty balanced. I don't know. I try to keep it balanced.
Yeah, yeah.
I
You
don't.
can't please everyone, right?
Try to give everyone their say.
Yeah, you can't control your guests who appear either, right?
Well, I think it's important that everyone should, regardless. I don't care what side you're on. I believe in discourse and debate, and that everyone should be able to give their opinion. You
Exactly.
know, it's
Vote
it's.
the way you want and move on.
I think it's. I'm much more concerned that you vote
Yep.
than who you vote for. It'll play out however it plays out, but do your civic duty. John D, one of the coolest things as a kid in the 90s was going early to the stadium to the top of the parking garage and playing wiffle ball and drinking beers before the game. Life was good.
Yep.
Yes. Sean can't jump on. He's with Shima. Keselowitz was at the Barossa function late last night. We did a wrist shot. I'll send it over. Yes.
I think if I'm not mistaken, it's like in the 3,000 range paddock. It's like really like from the '70s. It for Sean, it's like perfect.
Yeah.
He's pretty classy dude, and it just looks perfect on his wrist. I think it's one of those. It's a and I'm doing it such injustice. I'm just looking at the. Uh, I remember the photo. I think it's one of those where the bracelet can't be adjusted. It has to be fitted to your wrist, if I'm not
Oh, okay.
mistaken. Yeah.
You said it was a mesh bracelet?
It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of a if you look like I think it's the I'm looking at like Keystone and they have something similar.
And
And
what?
correct me, yeah, it's like the 3601, but I think it might be in Sean's might be in platinum, I think. It's the
Okay.
Paddock 3601, but I think the 3601 is that they have on Keystone is in yellow gold, but I think his is in platinum and the dial is different, I think. But the bracelet looks like that.
Oh, hold on. Okay, so well, here's a white gold one. It might look like.
I believe it's an early Calatrava, if I'm not mistaken. Mm, it it, it kind of looks like that, but not with the blue dial. Sean's dial looked a lot better than that.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty nice watch, to be honest with you.
See if I can find one in the platinum. No.
If you do the like, if you, I think if you just do the 3601, it looks kind of like Sean's, but
Okay.
the bracelet looks kind of like that from what I recall. And I'm just using my memory, so
Yeah. Well, so
yeah,
my
there you go, kind of something like that. So,
yeah.
but the break, but the dial looks different. A really
Okay.
nice looking dial. Looks like it's aged beautifully. So it looked pretty cool.
Cool. Well, congrats,
Yeah,
Sean.
yeah,
Let's see. How about something like this with a white dial? That's quartz.
yeah. I don't know the
Yeah.
movement on on Sean's, to be honest with you, but it just looked pretty cool. So, anything new in your collection there,
No,
Mark? Anything
nothing
you're planning to
new.
pick up?
Nah, I don't know. I've still, there's watches I look at. I'm just like, are they really? Do I really need them right now? You know what I mean?
Mm,
That's kind of where I'm
yeah,
at. I'm kind of
exactly.
waiting to see how the election plays out. What's going to happen with my business because
Hmm.
it's always very dependent on the economy, obviously,
Sure.
and we'll see what happens there. But
Well,
if
how's everything in the car business with you?
well, so we did this big sale. We had a huge week.
Hmm.
But other than that, I mean, it's kind of same old, same old. But I mean, we're having a really good month because of that one week. But
Mm,
overall, it's still tentative.
yeah.
It's still tentative. Mm, it's not. The scary thing is there's not a lot of traffic. There's not a lot of leads on
Oh.
the internet. There's not a lot of traffic coming in the door.
Mm.
So just trying to find ways to create some buzz and some urgency and move some pieces, but
So you're not going to be doing a buy one get one free deal?
nah, probably
No.
not. Probably won't
Okay,
do
too
buy
bad.
one get one deal.
Yeah. Now that
But
looks good.
that was last night's dinner.
Oh, that looks good.
So
Is
they
that
had
polenta on the bottom or what?
no. That is actually I took two sweet potatoes
Oh,
and
there you go.
made two small sweet potatoes like
Yeah,
medium,
yeah.
and I made mashed sweet potatoes for the bottom, and then the asparagus and the I topped it with the shrimp that I bought. I actually bought the shrimp for the breakfast, but
Mm.
there's a bunch extras. So after I grilled the steak, I threw it in the oven to finish, and then I took it out. I put the shrimp on top with some parm and some Gouda, and I think there was a
Mm.
Mexican cheese that I had, and I kind of broiled the shrimp on top of the steak,
Mm.
and I broiled the mushrooms on the pan at the same time. It was really good,
Yeah. Looks good.
quite delicious, if I do
I
say so.
bet. Yeah, I gotta head into the office today. I just bought a whole bunch of technology upgrades
Ah,
and it always scares me when the IT nerds are working on a day you're closed, and I'm like, okay, well, make sure it works because Monday I need to have it working, and they assured me it is, but until you turn it on and run the system, you don't know. So I'm gonna
yeah,
probably have to make a trip to the office to make sure it works. Otherwise, they're gonna have to come in on Monday, and I just hate calling these nerds because
yeah.
they explain stuff to you, and it's like way over your head,
Mhm.
and I'm Indian, so
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have an understanding of technology, and unfortunately, I'm the least technophile person you ever want to meet.
Hold on.
Oh,
Sean,
there you go.
Sean sent us something. Let's see.
Mm,
Oh, there's the watch.
yeah, there you go.
Boom. Look at that. That's pretty.
Yeah, looks nice.
So I see what you're saying about the adjustment on the back.
Yeah, I like I said, it is a blue dial. It looks like I thought
Yeah.
it was something a little different, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
very nice.
that class is really interesting
Yep,
on there. Thank you, Sean.
yep,
So you got to get heading out. I'm going to go another 7 minutes, and I got to go to the hospital and visit mom.
yep. Is she stable? She's doing okay though, right?
Yeah, yeah. She's just there.
Mm.
So I was there all Thursday night and a little bit yesterday evening, and
You
I
don't
got
mind me asking, how old is she?
78.
Okay, yeah. Always tough
Still
for
young.
parents.
Yeah, still
Yeah,
young.
very young actually.
So, let's see. Sean says the movement is ultra thin auto movement that was later used on the 3700 Nautilus. The
Mm.
dial is heated white gold.
There
Ooh,
you go.
very cool. Very, very cool.
Yep.
So DC and LV was talking about going to the games and going to the parking garage. I remember when I was a kid. Now my parents would get thrown in jail these days, but we
Hmm.
were like 12, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old. Yeah, I live in the suburbs, but 15 miles outside of Pittsburgh. We would
Hmm.
take we would go to the bus stop, take a bus into town, get a transfer to get over to the stadiums, or just walk across one of the bridges, depending on what we felt like. And for like I want to say it was like 85 cents to
Mm.
get in for a uh, just a general admission seat, and go. We would go all the time, take buses into
Yeah.
town all the time. Now it's a little trickier getting a bus out, so a lot of times we'd have like someone's parents would come pick us up, after the game or whatever. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
we would do that all the time. If you did that these days, you let your kids just hop on a bus by themselves, and
No.
oh
I s-
geez,
I still I still remember my first ever baseball game. My dad, myself, and my dad's best friend went to a Dodgers Cubs game,
ah,
and uh, I can still remember the Dodgers starting pitcher was, I think it was Stanhope, if that rings a bell.
oh, Doug Stanhope,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think that was the starting pitcher for the Dodgers at the time.
hmm
Early 80s, and I still remember that. And then we used to go to a lot of when we moved to the OC, we used to go to the Angels games back in the 80s when they had like Reggie Jackson came,
oh yeah,
or revitalized the team, and it was like Gene Autry was the owner.
Brian Downey was on those teams.
Brian Downing, all these Bobby Grich,
Don Baylor,
Bob Boone, Don Baylor, all these players.
Bobby Grich, he was a
Yep,
good player.
yep, yep.
I remember from one of the things I remember about the Angels is I thought he didn't get a lot. There was no cable TV back then. But
Hmm.
I would see this guy play for like a year. I think I might have only played a year for the Angels, a year or two. It was Lyman Bostock, who was
I've never heard of him.
Lyman Bostock he came from Minnesota. He was an incredible player, and he was murdered during
Oh
this.
wow.
Yeah, in Indiana, in Gary, Indiana. They were
Mm.
he'd gone to visit some relatives after they played the White Sox, I believe. He
Who
drove down.
knew?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he was a great player. He played with Rod Carew on the Twins.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget, Rod Carew was there too.
Yeah,
He
he
was
came
first
over to
base.
the Angels afterward
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And my father always says with the Angels, their biggest problem was they got rid of Nolan Ryan.
Mm,
Just a small mistake.
just a little. Well, the Mets
Yeah.
got rid of him too. So
Yeah.
who knew?
Who knew?
Who would have thought?
Well, on that note, now that I have successfully submarinered your channel,
George, it's always a pleasure to have you
hey,
on.
hey, for everyone in the chat, go out and vote. Vote your conscience.
Vote.
Vote your pocketbook. Vote your conscience. Go vote. Who was it? Mayor Daley that once said, "Vote early and vote often."
Yeah. Hey, it's your civic duty to vote.
Nothing
So,
like Chicago politics. Gotta
yeah,
love it. Gotta love the Chicago politicians.
100%.
Yeah, so much. We covered all the topics. We covered drama. We covered politics. We covered football. What else? Is there any last minute things we could discuss?
Oh, hockey season started. The Penguins stink. If
Mm.
Kyle D's out there in the world,
Look,
the
Flames are doing good,
oh yeah,
and I think my Lightning aren't too bad this year. I haven't. I have to admit, ever since Steven Stamkos left, I've been following, but not as I've been
yeah.
hooked. You know, they still have Bobrovsky. They still have Kucherov. They're still going to be good. And the youngsters that they came in was actually pretty good.
Yeah, Tampa's 5-3. They're second in their division. The Penguins are 3-6 and just look defensively helpless.
Is it me or does it seem like the Oilers always seem to start like in the cellar?
Yeah, they're 3-4. They beat the
Yeah.
Penguins the other night, but they're not playing well. Let's see,
I don't
Nashville.
understand why they always get off to these horrendous starts and then like mid-season they start coming along and then at the end of the year they're always like ready to go to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Let's
Who won
see.
this? I forgot. Who won the Stanley Cup last year? Was it Colorado?
No, it was Florida.
Florida. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So Steven Stamkos has 1 goal and no assists and is a -7 right now
Mm.
for Nashville.
Mm. Yeah.
Nashville's not playing well.
Tough to be a Tennessee fan, other than Logan Hall's grill streams.
Yeah.
Oof.
John D asked Sean, is that bracelet the same as those on the Universal Genève from the same era?
Mm.
PP has nearly identical design language to Universal Genève White Shadow model.
Interesting. You always learn something from John D.
Yes. Interesting guy, smart guy.
Yeah. Very smart. Knows his watch stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think I'm going to head out to the office, Mark. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I appreciate you letting me spew my hatred and
Oh, George. You're good. You're always pleasure to have you on, George.
be
Love
safe and
love
stay
talking.
healthy.
Love
Hope your mom, wishing your mom a speedy recovery in all seriousness. Politics and all that is one thing, but personal stuff is personal. So, but yeah, it looks like an old, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like an old ellipse.
Well, that's the Universal Genève, but it does look like an
Yeah.
ellipse.
Right.
But that bracelet looks similar to what
Mm-hmm.
and Sean says that the mesh bracelets that were popular in the 60s and 70s, Universal Genève, Paget, Vacheron did offer them. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, on that note, good luck to your Steelers.
All right.
And I hope every team in the NFC West.
Even though you didn't pick them, let's go Niners. I picked them.
Yeah, I'm having such a gut wrenching. It's like all the LA teams, the Rams, the Dodgers, the Trojans won, the Clippers won, the Lakers won, and then you have the Niners.
Then the Niners. The Trojans aren't having. They won, but they're not having a great year.
The Giants. I'm not a San Francisco Giants fan, but they're a mess.
Yeah.
The San Jose Sharks have been awful.
Yeah.
Awful. Yeah.
Sean, you missed.
You missed that.
We talked politics for half an hour.
Yeah, Sean, you missed the good stuff. We try to keep it civil.
We try and keep the discourse civil, but
it sometimes rails off, Sean. Sometimes it does.
But
anyways, it's all in fun, and everybody's entitled to their opinions and beliefs and whatever. That's what makes this country go around. What do they say? When we've done everything wrong, we'll finally figure out and do it right.
Yep. It's true.
By the way, how's the weather in the greater Pittsburgh area? Is it starting to snow or anything like that?
Oh, no. It's been cold in the mornings and the evenings, but then it warms up in the 60s and 70s every day during the day. So, but the leaves are turning. It's beautiful.
Yeah, around here, it's like getting real cold. So the wineries are real happy because all the Rieslings should be like extra sweet this year with the temperature differences. So it should be pretty nice. They usually have a late harvest sometime in November-ish, which should be really good. And then the winemakers around the area all have like a open, quote unquote, open house kind of deal where you spend $10 and you can go to all the wineries and taste all the wines, and pretty nice time of the year,
Pretty cool.
Pretty nice time of the year. Well, there you go. Hey, Buckley, hop on. We just finished bashing the Republican Party. So come on and defend. No, I meant to say Republican so he can hop on the stream.
All right, George.
Good night. Good day. Be safe. Mark.
Coming on. Appreciate you.
Take care. Everybody have a good evening in the chats. Get out and vote. Vote your conscience. Pocketbook.
Yeah, we'll talk
everything.
Remind
Thanks,
you
Mark.
To vote. All right, George.
Take care, buddy. Bye.
All right. Have a good day. George Voorhees, ladies and gentlemen. What a good guy. So, yeah, in the political talk, it is what it is. Like I said, the one thing that we will do here is, like Chris J had different opinions. I'll put him up and let him, put his opinion up. And then anyone can jump on if we have any discussions like that and give their opinion, as long as we do it in a civil way. Debate is good. Discourse is good. It's the way we used to do things before we were so polarized. Unfortunately, that is not the case anymore. But fortunately, I had an amazing dinner last night. That steak was great. That was a ribeye. It was a boneless ribeye I picked up. And like I said, I put that over a mashed sweet potato concoction with some asparagus, and then I broiled the shrimp on top of the steak with some 3 different kinds of cheeses. It was some kind of white Mexican cheese I had, some Parm, and some Gouda that was in the fridge, and it was just freaking great. And then breakfast, we did a shrimp Filipino silog with some sourdough toast and some and a sunny side up egg. I'll tell you the secret. I actually cooked 2 eggs and ate it with the 2 eggs, but picture wise, it looks better with the 1 egg. I am a slave to making them look good for you guys. So, but both delicious meals. If you're on my Instagram or on my Facebook, since I was sitting in the hospital doing nothing, I made a photo album in Facebook of like 300 food pictures I took out of my phone. So that's why all those food pictures showed up at one time. But they were delicious, delicious meals from over the years. So and there's probably still more pictures than I didn't even get to because after a while I just get bored doing that too. Uh, but I am going to get ready here to go see mom, see how she's feeling today. I talked to her on the phone this morning, but we'll see how she's doing. Um, she had a little spill, has a couple microfractures in her back, I guess, and has some. Her blood pressure was a little high. They couldn't. They were having trouble stabilizing her blood pressure. It was a little worrisome. But she also asked for a phone cord to charge her phone, so we'll get that to her, and we will go from there. We have 23 upvotes. So if you haven't hit the upvote, please do. Goal is to get between 30 and 40, and we're only at 23. And you got football picks, you had World Series talk, baseball talk, little politics. We had everything going on. Yeah, it was a long night Thursday night, but we'll see how she's doing today. All right, guys. I do appreciate everyone coming on. We'll go another 7 minutes. We'll make the show 2 hours and 45 minutes long. I don't really even think I did a wrist check today, but I am wearing the JLC. Beautiful watch. The nicest watch I own. A lovely piece. The star of that watch is the back. The movement's amazing. Since they sent it in to have it serviced, they replaced the glass. They did a full movement service on it over the summer too. Keeps excellent time and just good looking piece. There's a girl I was at the Market District a week or two ago. I was checking out, and the cashier actually she goes, "I really like your watch." I was like, "Oh, thank you." You know, and she goes, "It's really, really good looking." So probably tired of seeing all the Apple watches. That's all you seem to see these days on people when you're out and about or when they're in the dealership. So many Apple watches. Everyone is connected. I don't want to be connected anymore. I have a phone that connects me enough. All right. Yeah. Anything else anybody wanted to cover before we move on? I didn't see anything on all watch news today when I looked this morning. Nothing really exciting. I thought it was cool that OC did the hands-on with all the cubituses, like a cubiti. I don't know what you would call those. I thought that was kind of interesting to see. Looks like Seiko has relaunched some 62 Moss. Kind of looking, change those up. So these are now the 481, 483, and 485 models. Looks like a little wave pattern on the dial. Let's get rid of the ad. Those are always good looking watches. You know, hard to go wrong with a Seiko. In all honesty, $1,100. I wish they would sign their crowns. They only sign their crowns. It seems like if the watch is like $3,000 or more. I don't know. Sign crown is just one of those things that makes it feel like the watch is more than what it is sometimes. But I don't know. I like a good Seiko dive watch. I don't have one in the collection now. I keep looking around at some of them. The SBJ 383, I think, would be. Is that what it is? SPJ 383. Let me type that in. I think we've looked at this watch before. Yeah, they make this in green as well. And this one has the ceramic bezel and the GMT function. $1,500 though. It's hard to find a deal on them because there's not a lot of them. But it's a cool looking watch. You know, not crazy about 4:30 dates or the 4 o'clock crown per se, but kind of works with the watch. Yeah, I love that they put on there plus 25 to minus 15 seconds per day. And it's a $1,500 watch. That cracks me up. 200 meters of water resistant. I think it's a 42. Yeah, 42, 48.6 lug to lug, 12.9 thick. So it's not huge, but it's big enough. Just always a nice looking piece. One of those I look at and think, why don't I own that? And then I'm like, oh, because it's really expensive for what it is. And other than that, I think we're gonna lucha our way on out of here. Look at some. We'll finish off with breakfast again. Again, that was shrimp sea log. Thank you, BW, for the toasted garlic that is revolutionized my breakfast. I saw Sam the cooking guy has he does breakfast around the world, and he had let me see if I can find him here. Hold on, because he had a new, was it a Thai breakfast? Mm, hold on. Yeah, I think it was a Thai breakfast. Had like Thai chilies and Thai basil in it. So maybe we'll make something like that. Served over rice, the top one there. Looks like he served over rice. He used spiced ground pork mixture. I guess there's other ways you can do it. I'm gonna have to look into that to see a good way to make that. Maybe we'll make that for next week's breakfast. Try and do something a little bit different than what we've been doing, but the rice with the protein in the egg seems to be a good day. Uh, Sean, I hope you have a great day. Hope you had a great time last night. And hope everyone is well out there in California and that the Barossa event was good. But yeah, so we will do the maybe we'll do that Thai breakfast. Looks like Thai chilies, Thai basil, some spices, some like I said, he used the ground pork. Oh, look at that! Look who showed up. Curly, thank you so much. Lucci, you get me hungry. Good to see you, Curly. I said earlier, I don't know how he said he was coming on. I don't know how because he's doing these 5 to 8 hour streams on Saturday night. There's no way he's waking up for the beginning of this show. But good to see you. Thank you so much for the super chat. We do appreciate it. Remember, anything that comes in on super chat, initially we're going to put some stuff into the show. If we get some unboxing, if somebody wants to do an unboxing or something, we can do a charity. But for right now, we will be doing the enhancing the show. So first things first, like get a better camera, maybe do some videos and some stuff. Hey, his wife turned off the alarms. Those are long. You do long streams. It crack me up. I watch as much as I can, then I just kind of doze off. But I remember even as I was dozing off last night, I'm like, "There's no way this is going to go for hours. There's no way he's going to be able to wake up for this." But we start 10 a.m. every Sunday. But I unfortunately need to head off and see mom at the hospital. Um, But just for Curly, that was breakfast this morning, the shrimp sea log, but that was good. Maybe even better was dinner last night, which was the ribeye, boneless ribeye, and I broiled the shrimp and some cheese on top of the steak at the very end with the mushrooms. I broiled the mushrooms too at the end there too for a couple minutes, just enough to get a little bit of color and cook the mushrooms through real quick. And boom, the dreaded cremini mushrooms, one of my favorites. Happy Meal says, "Have a great Sunday, everybody." Yeah, everybody have a great Sunday. I'm gonna go visit mom, see how she's doing. Probably take a shower first. I'm not stinky. What are you gonna do? Woke up this morning. The cats and Sherman, the blind double dapple dachshund, were all having a good time. So hang out with them for a couple minutes, take a shower, and go see mom. Hope everybody has a great, great, great day. And we'll see you again next week.